It's been an early season of upsets in the AIA Singapore Premier League, a season so far in which the unlikely has become the norm. So what do we see today when Lion City Sailors, looking to bounce back from a first defeat in 20 outings, takes on Tampines Rovers, who've only won one of their last 11 in the league, stretching back to last season. It's the showpiece game of the weekend right here at the Jalan Besar Stadium, and it follows a weekend that has already brought rich drama in these early stages of the season. Match week 3 then kicked off with Hougang United against Jalan International. Andre Moritz stealing the headlines with the goals directly from a restart for a 3-2 victory in their second amazing game at that goal of that game. Hougang United with a victory. Balestier Khalsa 3, Tanjong Pagar United 5, 8 goals shared in that one. Tanjong Pagar, second victory of the season for them. And Albirex Niigata making it 11 goals in 2 matches as they eventually broke through the Young Lions, who were making their first appearance of the season, which leads us to the champions up against Tampines Rovers, appearing for the second time this season. They've got a point on the board already, and Lion City Sailors will be looking to at least match Albirex Niigata with 6. So, as I said, anything could and probably will happen here at Jalan Besar today. Let's hope so, because Roshan Rai is with me once again. We have seen just about everything so far this season, individually and collectively. What have your highlights been of this match week?
The fact that we've seen 18 goals over those 3 matches so far over the match week. I mean, Albirex starting to look like they're coming into a nice little rhythm. Tanaka scoring goals for fun at the moment. And Tanjong Pagar, how about them? Leading the SPL table at the moment, surprising lots and lots of people.
Lots and lots of people, but boy, they deserve it. They have played as a team. Let's talk about the champions a little bit right now, because they're hurting after that defeat at the hands of Jalan International, and much of the talk has been about why don't they go for it from the start. Kim Do-hoon's side have tended to throw their talented imports on as the game wears on. If you look at the minutes played, yes, Kim Shin-wook has played a game and a half so far, but they were rested last time out. Lestien, understandably, has only played 46 minutes. Diego Lopez, who we think is getting a start today, just the 81. So tell me this, why don't they play them from the start?
I think there are a couple of ways to look at this. One of them is, of course, you look at it and you think, hey, you've got a squad here, you've got players available, why not use them from the start? The other thing that you're looking at is the fact that it's going to be a very long season, it's a long campaign. You want to make sure these guys are fit and available. Someone like Lestien, for example, came in very late, so he hasn't actually had a proper preseason. So you want to make sure he has a nice base to build on fitness-wise and getting adjusted to the team as well and getting adjusted to the intensity that will be required of him. So I can understand that from a longer-term perspective, when you think about squad planning and player management, that has to come in as well, because you want to, again, make sure that these players are available when it starts to matter.
Let's talk a bit about Diego Lopez, because obviously he was the big buy last season. He was the one who shattered the Singapore transfer record when he joined the football club. Just look at those stats. This start that he is going to be making today, we understand, will be his first in 8 games since the game against the Young Lions in September I think, last year. Why wouldn't he be starting specifically? I mean, I can understand Lestien.
The thing with Diego Lopez as well, and again, I think he's had a disrupted preseason. He picked up an injury early on. That was the word from the LCS camp. So, you know, they had to sort of keep him out of training a little bit, give him that time to recover, and then get into a rhythm and a momentum before he could really start matches. But there have been question marks about whether he really fits in to Kim Do-hoon and what Kim Do-hoon wants from his team. Because when you look back at last season as well, he was kind of used sparingly in a sense. More of a player who was brought on from off the bench to change the game for them. When you talk to players around there, local players say he's individually a class apart, and he sees class in training, but somehow he hasn't quite worked out for him in terms of fitting in with the overall team idea that Kim Do-hoon has at the moment.
Yeah, we know all too well that they have so many great national team players that they've got plenty of depth in the squad. I'm just interested defensively in what they do, because one of the features, of course, of that first loss of the campaign for them was the loss of Pedro Enrique, one of their imports this particular season. Absent today, obviously, unavailable to them. What do they do?
Well, I think you look at Amirul coming into that central defensive lineup alongside Haris Harun. And this is a player that I think is quite steady. I quite like him. And perhaps he's a little bit unfortunate that he's only made those 18 appearances for the Sailors. I think, you know, if they didn't have, think about last season's George Felipe and Haris Harun coming in and playing in central defense has meant that Amirul has perhaps lost his spot. But I want to highlight this. Lion City Sailors have been incredibly poor at keeping clean sheets. They've only kept one in the last 13. That one clean sheet came against Jalan last season, a 3-0 win. and the two central defenders in that match were Amirul and Haris. So
what a stat.
If you like stats, you like omens and things like that, perhaps this could mean the Lion City Sailors are headed for a clean sheet against Tampines.
Let's just quickly, just to wrap this chat up about them, go away from stats, go away from anything like that. There's also pride at stake here. This is a team that I heard someone say should win every game they play, not that long ago.
Yeah, I was one of those who said they should be winning games. They should be stamping their authority in class, all of the teams in the SPL, and they should be winning every domestic title available to them. And I think that loss to Jalan came as a big surprise, a big shock, huge disappointment. Look, when you look at the talent, when you look at the resources, when you look at the quality that they have in the squad, there's really no excuse for them to not sweep everything up on the domestic front. That's what they need to do, and I think the players realize that. They need to take that on, and I think they spoke about how they were hurt after that defeat, going away in training sessions, learning about what they needed to do. I think for Kim Do-hoon as well as a coach, you know, I think he perhaps against Jalan got his tactics not quite right. He didn't press against the Eagles, so I think he realized it as well, and he's going to have to work on things that properly fit this team and the strengths and the qualities that they have.
Roshan, let's turn to the opposition, because if you look at the challenge facing LCS today, the scouting that Kim Do-hoon will have seen might just tell him no rush to throw your players on, because we're playing against Tampines Rovers, who unfortunately have developed a very bad habit of conceding goals in spurts. Now, it started off, of course, with them in the Asian Champions League, where they led in 27-6 in a very chastening campaign. Then they came back to the Singapore Premier League, where they were absolutely terrible defensively. As a result, they ended up conceding 51 goals.
Yeah.
I think that was even more than the young Lions did. Why did they concede so many? What's wrong?
You look at the numbers in the second half as well, 31 goals conceded in the second half of matches last season, but it's also the second half of the season. Coming back after the AFC Champions League really affected them.
Yeah.
And I spoke
so they had a mental block.
They had a mental block. Physically, they were shattered, they were done, and they just got destroyed in the AFC Champions League. And also, I think what happened was, I spoke to the chairman, Desmond Ong, at Tampines Rovers, and he said, you know, they learned a lot of lessons from that competition, understanding that there were some players that they needed to get out of the squad, but it seems to have sort of followed them into this season, into this campaign. I mean, they were always going to have a few issues, this Tampines Rovers side, especially on the defensive front, because they need to try and find a strategy of competing with the Lion City Sailors as a squad, and that means putting in younger players. And younger players, talented as they are, Ryan, for example, didn't have the best of matches in this one, making a mistake for Balestier's first goal, and then the scramble in the box. I mean, it's typical Balestier, really, going back to the last couple of seasons under Marko Kraljevic. But you see all these errors, all these mistakes sort of coming through. And that's because, you know, they have youngsters at the heart of that defense. And you can expect that at times that sort of stability is not going to be there.
They brought in Shuya Yamashita, of course, who was one of the defenders in the league from Albirex, and you have to hope that what he's got rubs off, right?
You would hope so, but again, let's remember that Shuya Yamashita, again, is as well a young player himself. I mean, very talented, sure, but still, when you look at that central defense, Ryan and Shuya Yamashita, it's two players who, you know, lack that real experience for a side that you expect to be challenging for titles, and that's going to come back and haunt them in certain situations. No doubt, these two guys are talented young players, but Yamashita's got a big job on his hands, because he's got to be that leader in the center of defense, and that's always difficult when you're coming into a new club and expected to take on that responsibility.
All right, we know that they have some quality going forward. In fact, they retain pretty much the strength that they had last season. Never a great doubt there. Who are we looking out for today?
Well, you look at that team, and it's always difficult to sort of pick out certain players because of the quality that they have. You think in midfield, Alex Okyoga, Nakamura, Zarudin, Memenovic, but up front, when you look at Boris Kopitovic, the player at Tampines Rovers, scored 16 goals for them last season. He's already scored a goal in the first match of their campaign, and a nice one, really good finish. So it's not just about being that big sort of target man. He's got quality about his finishing as well. He gets himself into good positions in the penalty area, and this should be an interesting battle. Boris Kopitovic up against Amirul Adli in those positions, and Haris Harun, how do they deal with that threat that he's going to pose? And remember about that Lion City Sailors not being very good at keeping clean sheets. Boris could find himself in good positions to finish off opportunities today.
Roshan, there's everything here pointing towards another entertaining game in the AIA Singapore Premier League, but we've also been raising a few questions about the lineups, which we can answer with those teams, the team news when we come back, and we'll also have a couple of thoughts from the respective managers. Given their pedigree in recent seasons, you'd expect Tampines Rovers to be challenging Lion City Sailors for the AIA Singapore Premier League, but they've fallen away. Last season they tailed off to finish 4th, and it was a distressing season of fixtures whenever they took on Lion City Sailors. Some 13 goals conceded when they met, and that's something that we've already addressed today. Rush Roshamrai is with me, and we're going to take a little look at the lineups for this one, because we did have one or two concerns about Lion City Sailors in particular and what they would be going with today. Well, rest assured, if you're a fan of LCS, it's strong. It was always going to be strong given the resources they have. After all, you can throw the best keeper in Singapore back in.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look at this lineup here. And for all the talk of some of the issues that they've had in the squad, with COVID issues, with injuries and things like that coming into this, that's still an incredible lineup. I mean, they're one of the deepest squads in the Singapore Premier League. Look at that centre-back partnership of Amirul and Haris Harun, and that's the one that's going to be interesting for me to keep an eye on. They normally have a very good relationship in those positions. I've already touched on how good Amirul is.
And he's there
in those
because
areas.
Pedro's out suspended.
That's right, Pedro's out suspended. We picked up that red card against Jalan, first of his 2-match suspension. Pedro, it will be a bit of a miss, but I think, you know, they got really good, capable replacement there in Amirul Adli coming in. Saifullah getting forward from midfield. I like when he makes those late runs into the area. Song Yi-yong, I think at times could as well just swap positions with Saifullah. Song, you know, at times early on in this campaign has started out in those wider areas for the Lion City Sailors, doing a little bit of a different role, but we could see a bit of flexibility in those areas. Expect Kim Shin-hook to be the target man. They need to get service into him because he's deadly in the box, and the number 10, Diego Lopez, individual quality, outstanding.
And as ever with Lion City Sailors, keep an eye on that bench because that will come into play. As far as Tampines Rovers are concerned, yeah, for them, defensively, what do they do? A rejig defence this season, we knew that with the stalwarts who left the club in the closed season, but otherwise, what catches your eye? I noticed that Ong Yuen, for example, who always looked sharp, starting games for Albirex on the right-hand side, is someone to look out for too.
I like him. I think he's a very talented young player, Ong Yuen. But look, I think the other senior players in this Tampines Rovers side are going to have to step up here and really take on the responsibility. I'm looking at Kyoga Nakamura. Very good technically on the ball, under pressure, they can give it into him, and he's normally very reliable in possession. Same for number 10, Zarudin Memenovic. These are the two players who are going to be looking to be a big part of that possession game that Tampines Rovers like to have, and they're going to be creating chances for the likes of Boris Kopitovic up front.
Thank you very much, Rush. And let's hear from the two head coaches right now. Faranai is down on the touchline, which has been talking to them. First up, Lion City Sailors head coach Kim Do-hoon.
Of course, it's a big disappointment for us, and it's a big loss because he's a crucial player for us. But we're not just a team of just Pedro himself. Adelaide has been preparing very well for this week, and I'm sure that he can fill in the shoes, and he'll make it look as if we don't have any missing players. So yeah, we'll see what happens in the game.
What kind of responses are you expecting from your team, especially after the defeat with Jalan?
So obviously after last match we did our evaluation, we did our analysis. But what's more important is not to continue to think of the result of last match, but it's today's match that is more important. So we are focusing on to play Tampines Rovers today. So we've been preparing well, although the boys have been very focused in training. So let's hope, and we're all hoping, and we want to bring the result back home today. Thank you.
So it was a different situation compared to them. We just had to plan for the external factors, the extra days. But that also gives us a little bit more time to go into a little bit more detail than normal. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we look later on the pitch.
What do you think is the most crucial for your team today to ensure the best possible result?
Yeah, I think if you look at all of last three sort of Sailors games, the challenge for us today is to be able to maintain our thinking, the quality of our actions towards the end. Yeah, if our team can think task from the start as well as the end, then we've got a good chance at this game.
You know, listening to Gavin there, I think it was a chastening second half, or it was a chastening year maybe all around for Tampines Rovers, but they've always stressed that they have a plan, they try and work things long term and what have you. What's not just today, but what's this early season about for them? Re-establishing themselves?
Yeah. I think you're right to point that out. I think they need to do that. They need to sort of show that they've grown from last season's experience, so that it hasn't really traumatized them too much. I know they have a lot of faith in Gavin, who's a really good young Singaporean coach who's, you know, had a big test last season, and it's for him as well to sort of step up to say that, yeah, it was tough, but I learned from it, and this is what I'm going to show that I've learned this season and this campaign. So, you know, hopefully we see the best of Tampines Rovers throughout the course of the season. Let's remember, they've only played one match so far, and that was that draw against Balestier, losing that 2-goal lead. in the first half. It's going to be a tough test for them in this one against the Lion City Sailors.
This will be a test. And I just want to drag this back again to Diego Lopez, because Lion City Sailors, they came up against a really great atmosphere at our Tampines have last time out when Gelang's fans delightedly celebrated a victory. Now they're back in their stadium with their fans, and they will expect a bit of atmosphere, something special.
Yeah.
You get a sense that by picking Diego Lopez, by putting the stars in as best as they can, again, they might want to make a statement for these fans, mightn't they, today?
Yeah, no, I think so. I think when Kim Do-hoon was interviewed after the match, the last match, he spoke about how one of the worst things, yes, losing the match hurt, but the fact that, you know, they felt horrible letting the fans down, losing the game against Gelang. And so they'll want to set things right. They'll want to make sure that they please their supporters here, who have been fantastic, who always create a really good environment and atmosphere for the players. And Diego Lopez is someone who can do that. I mean, he brings fans to off their seats and gets them excited just because of the sort of player he is as an individual. Great that he's getting a start. Again, there have been question marks about whether he really fits in. So I think, you know, he's got to take that upon himself as well to show that, yes, you know, this is going to work. I'm here with the Lion City Sailors, and I am here to help this side win things.
So a big day for both clubs in terms of making statements, certainly on the pitch, and it's another AIA Singapore Premier League game really to look forward to. Roshan's going to hop into the commentary booth in just a minute with Shazad Haq, which means that the kickoff isn't far away.
And a very warm welcome to here, raucous Jalan Besar Stadium. Lion City Sailors fans already getting whipped up into a frenzy. Their team in action here very shortly against Tampines Rovers. This is regarded here in the AIA Singapore Premier League as one of the marquee matches. And Jalan Besar Stadium has got a great atmosphere this Sunday evening. Tampines Rovers have only played the one match so far through the vagaries of the SPL schedule, whilst there's been an upset on the cards, quite possibly the biggest upset so far, when Gelang International beat Lion City Sailors a 1-0 in their last match. So there might be a backlash today, and boy, what a team to pick against to do it. Tampines Rovers, having played in the AFC Champions League midway through 2021, never really seemed to recover from that hangover. Just one win in 18 in all competitions. Can they buck that trend and return to winning ways here against the team's outstanding performer and defending champions? Well, let's get the thoughts of my fellow commentator, Rish Roshan, right with me here, overlooking the majestic Jalan Besar Stadium. Roshan, what do you make of this one? A great time for each team to play their opponent, I suppose. You could look at it that way.
Yeah, I guess you could.
If we're looking for positives.
We're looking, yeah, I mean, is there ever a good time to play the Lion City Sailors with the squad that they have, with the quality that they have? Especially when they're coming off the back of that defeat against Jalan, where they're trying to show that they've learned from that, and they want a reaction. They want to show that you know, that didn't throw them off their momentum and their rhythm too much, and they want to make a statement in front of their home fans against Tampines Rovers. There's our friend on the roof of the car park as well. He's being joined by a couple of other spectators.
It's a good spot, isn't
great
it?
Vantage point for what should hopefully be a really good, exciting game of football. I mean, what we saw from these two sides last year, the first meeting between these two was a 3-3 draw. And then, of course, Lion City Sailors went on and really dominated Tampines Rovers in the next two meetings. I think we should have goals in this one. Just when you look at the lineups here, when you look at the potential matchups across the pitch, when you look at some of the strengths and the weaknesses that we're going to see, there will be goals.
Yeah, when you talk about goals, of course, we know they're a free scoring side, Lion City Sailors, and we also know from last season that Tampines Rovers are a very generous side in defence. They conceded 51 goals. It's one more than Young Lions did. But I think we also must be clear, there was major surgery done, at least in the back of Tampines Rovers. Gone are the veteran defenders such as Daniel Bennett and Baihaki Kaizan. Mari Mahana has been released by the club. And they brought in a lot of youth into the club now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and that has to be the sort of strategy for Tampines Rovers, or almost anyone who is in the Lion City Sailors. You know, don't have the kind of financial power that the Sailors have, so you need to think of how you're going to address that, how you're going to stay competitive, and that's to try and bring through talented younger players, giving them opportunities in the side to make an impact, and try and build for the longer term, and hope you can then reap those rewards of having given them those minutes and those experiences. It's going to be a big challenge, but this is where you kind of see what these younger players are sort of made of. Ryan and Shuya Yamashita, it's a very young central defensive pairing, a 19-year-old and a 23-year-old.
Yeah. Does that worry you a little bit? Because
it is a concern. I mean, it is a concern, and it's not their fault or anything. I certainly wouldn't blame them. I mean, Ryan, especially at 19 years of age, being thrown in the deep end essentially, but he's been given an opportunity to show us all what he can do, and the expectation is that Shuya Yamashita will need to lead from the back. And he is a leader. He's vocal, and he's a really good central defender. I was impressed with him when he was at Alperex. Good with the ball at his feet. Good in the air, despite the fact that he's not the tallest of centre-backs. But still, I mean, you're a foreign player coming in, 23 years of age, coming into a new side, being expected to lead the team and be that person who takes on the responsibilities of a leader in that back line. It's not easy, and this is something the Lion City Sailors can try and take advantage of. I mean, you think about that young central defensive pairing, and then Diego Lopez and Kim Shin-Wook up against them. It's going to be a huge test for that back line.
You mentioned there that they don't have the resources, Tampines Rovers, but what they've done, I think, which was very interesting and a first for Singapore football, recently offering 5-year contracts to Kyoga Nakamura, Shasha Iran and Joel Chu, with a view, Roshan, to the future, and it's unprecedented in Singapore football. So that stands in good stead, right? Yeah,
and again, it's almost a reaction to what Lion City Sailors are doing.
It's a Lion City Sailors effect,
they
right?
could easily sort of pick off their players and say, you're on a 1 or 2 year contract, we'll wait, we'll pick you off and sign you on a free transfer. But it's also about planning in the longer term, and you know, those 5-year contracts that you mentioned have been offered to key players, players who they expect to be a part of them in the longer term. Joel and Shah, of course, still with the Young Lions, but once they join Tampines Rovers, you know, they hope that they'll be able to make the impact that's required of them to help Tampines challenge in the medium and the longer term.
Jansen Fu is in charge of this one. alongside Manoj Kalwani and Huang Xin-Xie. And the fourth official is Mohammad Hilmi Fuad. So, the two captains there, just gathering together for the toss. Let's look at the lineups in the meantime. And there are only 4 survivors from the side that stunningly lost to Geylang International. They shuffled the pack back then, they're shuffling it again. The only survivors, by the way, Song Eui-yong, Ikram Rifki, Haris Harun, the skipper, and Saifullah Akbar. There's no place in the squad, of course, for Pedro, who was sent off, first of 2-match suspension, and no place as well for Tajeli, Anu, and Faris is injured. On the bench from that last game, Iswan Mahmud, Amrullah Ashraf, and Adam Swandi. Tampines Rovers have only played that one game, which was the 2-2 draw against Balestier Khalsa. They make one change from that game, with Amrul Haikal making way for the left back, Irwan Shah. What do you make of that, Roshan? Because it's a lot of changes, isn't it, for Kim Do-hoon?
Well, he has the squad to make those changes. Unlike perhaps Gavin Lee, you look at him here, and you know, he's essentially got what I think is a pretty strong starting 11. But even that starting 11 has got quite a number of younger players in there. As you mentioned, Ryan Ong Yuen as well, who's expected to play a big role off the flanks. And when you look at the bench, it's again about giving younger players an opportunity. So Kim Do-hoon has that luxury of having a Lion City Sailors squad that's full of talent. There's quality all across that squad, and that's the team that they've built. You know, it's a team that's looking to challenge and win titles domestically, but also give a good showing, give a good account of themselves in the AFC Champions League on the continent. And there was some talk about Lion City Sailors perhaps struggling in the build-up to this game because of COVID issues in the squad, some injuries, a couple of injuries here and there affecting players. But when you look at the starting lineup, you tend to think to yourself, well, what kind of injury, what kind of COVID concerns have they had? Because this is still
a very good
starting 11. And even Amirul coming in, I mean, he's a Singapore international, coming in to replace Pedro Enrique in that central defensive position.
We must add a couple of points of note for either side. One is that Gabriel Kwak is back on the bench for the first time since that shoulder injury that he sustained during the AFF Suzuki Cup back in December. And Diego Lopez gets his first start in 8 matches since the 12th of September when he played against Young Lions. That probably is quite a matter of note, given that he is Singapore's record signing.
Yeah, and I think, again, said in the build-up to this game, there were a couple of question marks, perhaps, right? Whether he really sort of fits into what Kim Do-hoon wants out of him. And last season, he tended to make his appearances off the bench, you know, game-changing appearances off the bench and adding quality in the closing stages of matches. Here he is getting an opportunity right from the start. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does, you know, whether he gets a good, decent run in the starting 11 for this Lion City Sailors side.
Yeah, also because there are a number of players who are unavailable at the moment. I wonder if that is also playing a part. But let's focus on the game at hand here, with the Lion City Sailors in their traditional white and blue. Interesting, of course, that Tampines Rovers have only played that one game so far. They were 2 goals up against Balestier Khalsa, and then played a very nervy second half where they conceded 2. There could have been more. There's Zeradin Mehmedovic, and Saifullah almost got the ball off him. Kyoga Nakamura. Great noise, as you'll hear these days, for those Sailor fans.
You know, I have to say just very quickly that we were talking about inexperience in that back line, especially in the central defensive position. Let's remember they had experience last season.
Yes.
And still it was not the best defensively from them. So sometimes as well, as a side, as a squad, you try and find that balance in a team. You know, not just about the central defenders, but making sure that as a team, as a unit, you get that protection from your midfielders and from your attackers, that the lines are compact, there's not much space for the opposition to operate in those areas. The distances and the gaps are right in those defensive phases of the game.
Talking of that Tampines defence, interesting to see Chris Van Hoosen at right back. That's not something we or he is familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, a foul early on here. It wasn't Ong Yuan, it was a situation just before that. I think it was Taufik on this left-hand side. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one. Chris Van Hoosen playing in that role, but it's almost as if, you know, as he gets onto the ball here and helps it back to his goalkeeper, he's got good quality with his deliveries.
Yeah.
And we know him more as a winger, playing on the right or perhaps at times playing on the left. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, Mehmedovic just slipping the ball there to... Or did that stay in play? He pushed himself all the way there.
And not one of his strengths, is it, Yase? Speed or acceleration. Got a bit too much to do for him on that occasion.
It's also the Jalan Besar surface doesn't help his cause.
Well, yeah, coming back to Van Hoosen, I think, you know, when you change your position, especially when you're playing as a defender, everything's happening in front of you. So your view of the pitch is actually different.
Yeah.
And at times you might actually have a little bit more time on the ball. And that can possibly quite help his game in terms of picking up passes from deeper areas. We see it in world football where the fullbacks are becoming increasingly important, right? Yeah. In terms of making the plays for their sides.
Well, we know he's got no problem attacking Chris Van Hoosen, but here come Tampines Rovers and Ong Yuan, who impressed last year with Albrecht's Niigata when he was still just a 17-year-old, and he was someone earmarked for the future, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's an impressive young player, Ong Yuan. I think he did really well when he was at Albrecht, coming into the side and contributing as well whenever he was given an opportunity to do that. Now he comes into this Tampines Rovers team, and you know, again, you'll expect him to take on a lot more responsibility on his young shoulders. But he's seen a lot of minutes in his young career so far, and he's playing in a central position here, it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, in that midfield three, you have Kyoga, Ong Yuan, and then Yase Hanapi just playing in front of them. And interestingly, Zainuddin Mehmedovic has been pushed out onto the right-hand side, at least for the moment.
But I think were you saying earlier that you might see a little bit of shifting around between those guys?
Yeah, we could. I mean, they have that profile, especially Mehmedovic, right?
There's Kapitovic, who scored 16 goals last season, the second highest scorer in the SPL.
What I mean by profile of player, we know Mehmedovic can play in a central position as well. We've seen him play in the wider position for Tampines, and Ong Yuan can obviously play in a wider area, and now he's doing a job in the centre of the park.
Such a versatile player, isn't he, Zainuddin Mehmedovic? Real engine on him. Kyoga Nakamura likes to play that deeper role, doesn't he? A quarterback, almost a quarterback for Tampines Rovers. He's spoken very openly about wanting to play for Singapore one day, 2 years away from completing the residency requirements, and that's given away by Diego Lopez. Here comes Kapitovic. That was a chance, wasn't it?
Well, it was Yase Hanapi on Diego Lopez, and it had gone down. I think he felt a bit of contact there, Diego Lopez. Referee Jensen Fu was actually thinking about blowing the whistle for a free kick and decided to play on, thought about it, said play on. And Kapitovic could attack that space that was left behind because Amirul Adli had just opened up in the phases of possession. You tend to open up and try and make the pitch as big as you possibly can. And if you get caught in those moments, that's when the opposition can initiate a transition and counter-attack.
Decent sight of goal there from Boris Kapitovic. He was one of the 3 foreigners that were retained this season, with Nakamura and Mehmedovic, Armin Bosniak released. Weaving his way through, lovely partnership there, and it should, it's come off the base of the post. Taufik Suparno setting up Kapitovic. And that's 2 very nervy moments at the back for Lion City Sailors.
They're such slow starters, the Lion City Sailors.
I think they almost need a goal conceded to get
it's
going.
a weird one. You wonder what's going on in the pre-match preparation. You know, they start matches so slowly. This is really well worked by Tampines. Great encouraging start from them. They look so confident in possession of the ball. It's good movement. Taufik on that occasion just linking up with Boris. Unfortunate, he thought it was headed into the back of the net. He was almost ready to celebrate.
I think there was a little touch, wasn't there, from Hassan Sani?
Yeah, there was, yeah.
So credit to him. There's a no-look pass from Mehmedovic. They're playing with confidence here, Tampines Rovers. And why not? As you said, slow starters, Lion City Sailors this season, and they've only had 1 clean sheet in their last 13 under Kim Do-hoon. And we've seen in every match so far this season, they have not started well. And that includes the AIA Community Shield, which they went on to eventually win.
It's like someone's told them, hey guys, you're too good for the league. Give the opposition that first goal advantage, and let's try and get ourselves back into the game from there.
Nicely done by Yasser. Here's Ryan Sanizal. Now Irwan Shah. This is a confidence that perhaps we may not have seen so much of from Tampines Rovers, particularly towards the tail end of last season, when they looked to pale shadow themselves. A number of no-look passes there from Mehmedovic, just perhaps indicating that confidence. Here's Irwan Shah. Little tricks and flicks. Nakamura. Haris Haran is there. Taufik Suparno gets past Nakuddin. Shadan Sulaiman is there to mop up, and again he's a little slow to clear that. Kapitovic, is he brought down? Jansen Fu waves that away, and wow, did he have a case there? It is all happening at the moment inside that penalty area. My word.
Oh, that's such an interesting one. Again, it's Shadan just takes his time on the ball, and that hunger and desire of Tampines to want to try and win it back. Such good work from Boris Kapitovic here to win it back. He skips past the challenges. I've seen them given. I'm going to say 50-50.
Yeah.
I've seen them given, but
if it had gone either way.
If I look at the referee, and he's got to sort of think very quickly in his mind whether he was really impeded. Could he get himself out of that situation?
Yeah. I think, you know, when you look, we've had now 3 looks at that.
We've had 3 looks at that. Okay.
Yeah.
My initial reaction when I saw it in real time was that penalty.
Yeah.
I would have given the penalty.
Well, I wish we had a camera on you.
I would have given the penalty. Yeah.
You had your arms in the air.
Unfortunately for Tampines Rovers in defence, I'm not the referee.
Yeah. Oh, lovely flick again. This is really good stuff from Tampines Rovers. Taufik Suparno. He slips the ball through. Oh, that is fantastic play between Yasser Hanapi and Taufik Suparno. It could be 3-0 by now.
Oh, it's on this left-hand side. The link-up is outstanding, and Taufik Suparno should start more matches. Fan club is delighted this season, having to come off the bench a lot in last year's campaign, still able to make an impact. He's getting his starts now, he's getting his regular minutes now, and you can see the impact that he's making. Okay, perhaps he won't last the course of the 90 minutes, but I mean, look, he's so explosive, he's so direct with his play. And Hassan Sani coming up big once again. That's 2 huge saves. He's gotten enough on them to divert them away from goal.
Remember, Nakuddin is deputising here today for Tajeli, who's the regular right back. He just tried to adjust himself there, Chris Van Huysen, but it is all coming down that left-hand side at the moment from Lion City Sailors.
These are good chances as well. Yeah. These are really good chances.
Are these high-quality chances?
I would say so. One-on-one up against the goalkeeper.
Yeah. It's almost as if they need that first goal to be scored against them, Lion City Sailors, before they're stung into action. Van Huysen's done well. There is a real verve about this team. They are rocking at the moment. Again, Kapitovic just gets there, ahead of Amirul Adli. They are really up for this, aren't they?
Yeah, certainly are, Tampines. Again, they're playing with really good confidence, great in possession. Passing, the movement is quick, players interchanging positions, exchanging passes, a give, go, attack the space.
And
in creating opportunities. And the Lion City Sailors just don't look up for it. I mean, is it this impact of having had trouble in the build-up to this game? The fact that they perhaps have had training sessions disrupted, issues with COVID and issues with illnesses and injury in the squad. Maybe they kind of look off the pace.
I just wonder, you know, Roshan, one of the criticisms of Tampines Rovers last year was they shifted the ball around slowly. They didn't press high enough. They like to hold on to the ball, but they do enough with it. They're moving it quite nicely at the moment, aren't they?
I think they're doing a lot with their possession at the moment.
Yeah.
They're creating good chances. They just haven't found that finishing touch. That's the only thing that's lacking at the moment. And the danger always in these situations, in a game of football, you will notice you have sort of phases where you're on top. And then your intensity drops a little bit. The other side starts to then increase their own tempo of play. They grow into the game. They come into the rhythm of the game. And they'll have a bit of a spell as well. So you always try as far as possible. Obviously, it's easy to say this. But when you're on top in matches, when you're creating the kind of chances that Tampines are creating, you want to make the most of those situations and finish off those opportunities.
And if we know there's one team that can certainly grow into game, it is Lion City Sailors. Foul there by Saifullah, who's not happy with that decision. They're quickly taken by Kyoga Nakamura. Here's Taufik Suparno into Kapitovic. Terrific start here. 12 minutes have just whizzed by, and it has been pretty much all Tampines Rovers. Probably not following the script at the moment, but that's what makes this compulsive viewing. And talking of not following the script, Roshan, that has been the flavour of the SPL this season, hasn't it? Which has made it such compelling viewing.
It's been excellent. Excellent. I mean, the goals flying in from everywhere. That's another thing, right? 18 goals from the 3 matches we've seen on this match week so far.
And
results.
Yeah,
Tanjung Pagar
absolutely.
leading the SPL table. I mean, for me, I love the competitiveness, and I hope it carries on for as long as possible.
Absolutely. Well, this is a rare foray in that final third for Lion City Sailors. Here's Diego Lopez. He's got Ikram on the outside if he needs. Puts across the way. And that's the first opportunity for Kim Shin-wook.
And that's the kind of service he needs in the penalty area. We've seen him struggle when he drops off into deeper positions, when he drops off closer towards the midfield, or when they need him to be involved in the build-up. Not quite what his strengths are, but in the penalty area, you get that service into him, and it's the two, I'm going to call them marquee players, the key foreign signings, Diego Lopez and Kim Shin-wook linking up in those positions. And this is the danger for Tampines. You know, Lion City Sailors haven't been playing well, they haven't started well, but they have that individual quality to punish you in those moments.
And they haven't taken advantage of that yet, have they? Those 2 chances. What we've noticed, Roshan, as well, is whenever Diego Lopez comes on, it tends to be, of course, in the second half, until today, the difference in the quality of the delivery into Kim Shin-wook has been quite stark.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first delivery that we've seen from Lion City Sailors, if memory serves me well. But yeah, I mean, it was right into him. Kind of many complaints about the quality of that cross from Diego Lopez.
And that's the difference he's made in the second halves of most games that he's come on, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, on an individual level, there's no doubt about his technique, about his ability, about his quality. He's a class apart. And he's a couple of levels above the league here in Singapore. It's just, again, whether individual players, you can be a wonderful individual player to fit into sort of the system that a coach is looking for. And I know there'll be people out there saying you've got a player like that, you need to play him all the time, whether he fits into your system or not. You need to start. So it's all about your perspective. You know, it's all about your priorities. And I think that the question is whether he sort of just fits into that mold of what Kim Do-hoon wants.
Here's Yasser Hanapi. Slips it through. Kyoga Nakamura's got a bit of work to do here, and that's very clever defending from Haris Harun.
Well, you see this with Kyoga Nakamura as well. You know, in this match, he's making a lot more runs from deeper positions, getting in behind opposition defense, going out into the wider position early on. Well, you say normally he sits in front of that back line, he builds from there. But here, because of that rotation, the balance that they have in the midfield at the moment, if he goes, Ong Yuen just sits and holds his position there. Nakamura obviously been given instructions to get forward when the opportunity presents.
It's good closing down again from Tampines Rovers, working as a team, moving together.
Foul on you and taken very quickly by Asanapi. It is very good intent here from Tampines Rovers. Ikram won't get there, or rather, sorry, Haiko Pasha. Kyoga Nakamura now.
And the other thing this does for Tampines is, yes, they look good in possession, they are attacking, they're creating chances. But the other side of this is they're also keeping the ball as far away from their goal as possible. and that is another way of sort of defending in a sense, not exposing your central defenders, you know, in these situations, because they've been so dominant with the ball.
Almost everything's been played in this half, hasn't it? It's been
right.
Very, very impressive to watch. Here's Yamashita coming in from Albrechts Nagata last season.
You see this rotation again of positions. Kyoga Nakamura comes out onto this left-hand side, playing as that left back almost. Irwan Shah pushes forward, and then you see Mehmedovic peeling into a central position from that right-hand side.
Irwan Shah just puts that header into that corridor of uncertainty, and Hassan Sani, maybe a little push on him. Was there contact from Kopitovic, Q Russian, and protected species? Am I right?
Protected species goalkeepers. Aye.
There's a whole show waiting for that one.
The excuse there is, you know, he's got his arms up, so he can't use his hands to protect himself. As long as there's a little bit of a bump, the referee is always going to give it the goalkeeper's way.
He had a really perplexed look on his face, didn't he, Kopitovic?
I think you accept that now. You're almost conditioned to accept that. Anytime you touch the goalkeeper, the referee's going to blow his whistle for a free kick the other way.
Here's Harris to Ikram Rifki. Wanted Haiko Pasha a little closer to him. One of the things to do here from Lion City Sailors' point of view, Roshan, would that be to maybe take the sting out of things? Oh dear.
Take the sting out of that.
That's a poor pass out from Harris.
Sloppy turnover, under no pressure at all. And it's a simple pass.
Yeah, would it be just to try and slow things down on their end and try to hold on to the ball if they can?
I think that's what they were trying to do. You know, a couple of sideways passes between the central defenders, looking to just slow it down a little bit. But there you go. I mean,
is that kind of indicative of what we've seen for the first 19 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, they've had that one opportunity from Kim Shin-ok, but it's pretty much been all Tampines Rovers.
Yeah. Here's Chris Van Huysen. You know, he's got the delivery on him. Cleared away by Ikram. Headed by Shadan Sulaiman. Here's Kim Shin-wook. Well, Yamashita says he got a clean challenge on the Korean.
Yeah, I mean, Yamashita just making sure he follows Kim Shin-wook even into those advanced positions. But it's about keeping the lines compact and close together. Something I pointed out earlier on in this game. They need to make sure they're moving forward as a team. And so when they lose it, they can try and win it back quickly. They can try and sort of counter press, win it back straight away. Or if they can't, maybe you commit a foul. And you got to be smart about those situations. You break up the attack.
Looking across at the referee. Here's Mehmedovic. Has he broken the trap? Yes, he must have. It's a clearance off the line from Yasser Hanapi. Amirul Adli there just about saving his team again. They're looking really nervy at the back here, Lion City Sailors.
And again, you see what's hurting them, and we saw with Taufik's chances, it's those runs from deeper positions. And it's Yasser Hanapi just floating off in behind the Lion City Sailors midfield, but not putting himself against the Lion City Sailors backline. And he's just starting these runs from deeper positions.
They're not picking him up, are they?
They're not picking him up because he's starting these runs from deeper positions. It was the same for Taufik as well with the opportunities that he had.
Are we putting that down as a high-quality chance?
I think the angle was a little bit against him, but it's a good chance again. Because when you look at that, actually, I just wonder, the cynical side of me, the ex-professional side of me, saying if Yase gets a touch to that, initiate the contact with the goalkeeper.
I thought that's what he might.
Contact and go down, and that's a penalty.
Yeah, I just wondered whether that went through his mind.
It might have, perhaps trying to stay a little bit too honest in that situation, Yase.
Nice touch on from Song Woo-young to Kim Shin-wook. Here's Haikal Pasha. He's been a little bit quiet on the left-hand side. He hasn't had any of the ball, really. Forced to go back here, Lion City Sailors. All the way to Hassan Sani.
As a cue from Yamashita, who's marshalling that back line. Every time the ball goes backwards, they want to maintain that high line.
Chris Van Hoosen throws himself at that ball.
And Saifullah has gone down the middle of the pitch. He's looking for some attention.
That is eventually put out of play, just to get some treatment. Didn't see any contact on him, so that's not a good sign for the 23-year-olds. Talking of 23-year-olds, Roshan, if you look at that Tampines Rovers bench, it is yesterday the Balestier game against Tanjung Pagar. Every single player on the bench was an under-23 player, which is something I've certainly never seen before, and it's not far off here today with Tampines Rovers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these sides in the league, across the league, having to have younger players in the squad as part of their overall squad makeup. It's good. I mean, there's no more sort of quota.
Yeah.
I mean, the quota still is that you have to start one under-23 player.
Sure.
But the fact that that's sort of been reduced to that is good.
The only player over the age of 23 is the veteran midfielder Firdaus Kasman, who's come across from Geylang International.
Yeah. He must feel like a grandfather on that bench, 34 years
I
of
think
age.
he's taking him out for a walk in the park on the sidelines. We've got a 17-year-old in Adam Rifdi and Andrew Al. This is just a great experience to be on the bench at 17, 18 years old. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
if nothing else.
Years ago in the S League, back in the S League.
Come on.
It was really difficult for a 17-year-old to break into an S League side and be on the bench, and never mind being on the bench, but being expected to play a part on the pitch and be a key player. But things have changed, you know, the players are getting younger, being given more of an opportunity at the professional level.
Yeah, Haris Harun, of course, making his debut. At that point, he was the youngest ever, 16 years of age, when he made his club debut.
Yeah, and then started to see lots of 15-year-olds last season.
Yeah. Gosh, some of you, weren't there?
Making their debuts and
even scoring.
Soimi.
Ball over the top. Oh, and the diving header from Boris Kapitovic is just wide. Not picked up again. How many chances do they need?
Excellent delivery as well, Van Hoosen. Again, because he can use his right foot, his left foot, just shifts it over to his left on this occasion and puts in wonderful quality. Amirul just gets caught underneath that, and Kapitovic, wonderful movement, attacking that gap between Nakiuddin and Amirul Adli. Again, you look at this, and if you're Gavin, you're tearing your hair out because you're thinking, as a coach, you try and give your team that formula, you show them the way to goal, and then you hope that the quality, you know, you try and show them the way to create chances, and you hope that then when you do create those opportunities, players will put them away.
You know, we did that first game of the season, didn't we? The season opener, where Albrecht Nagata controlled the first half. I don't remember them having these many chances, high quality chances. But now, here they come on the counter. Song Woo-young. He only has Kim Shin-wook, and has a reverse pass to Haikal Pasha. Could they hit them here with a sucker punch? Haikal, well, he's going back, he needs support. Diego Lopez. Give and go with Song Woo-young. Just kind of seemed devoid of an idea what to do when they got there.
Yeah, you know, for a side that's not had much of the ball, when you do win it, there's opportunities to counter-attack quickly, because obviously there's space in behind, and they were able to find a bit of that space in behind. Just haven't been able to make the most of it.
Oh. Just for a second there, I thought Shazwell was about to pick it up.
He wasn't sure.
Yeah.
You know, as the ball got played back into him.
It looked like a back pass, didn't it?
I'm not sure if it would have been given as a back pass. Sometimes the key is confidence.
Oh, right. I'll just grab
picking it up and going like, what? It was a deflected. It was deflected back towards me.
That's
of course,
it's
a bit of a risk, but
risky play.
Shazwan on that occasion deciding that he wasn't going to take that risk. Fair play to him. I mean,
yeah, I think erring on the side of caution is the right way, probably at the moment, especially when you're dominant, aren't you?
Yeah, you don't want to give away these opportunities. You know, your side that's been creating chances, you're controlling the game.
I've not seen Lion City Sailors, specifically in the games that I've done anyway, be dominated like this to this extent. To have had that many chances against them. Roshan, you and I have covered a lot. Does anything come to mind close to this? It is very, very encouraging as far as Tampines Rovers are concerned, but they've got to get that goal.
Such a beautiful switch of play as well. Yeah. Wonderful technique on that diagonal from Yamashita, right to left. Pinged it at pace straight into the run of Taufik.
Flick on there by Kim Shin-wook, straight to Yamashita.
Well, that's one of the qualities that Yamashita has. You know, it's not just his game defensively, but his quality on the ball, ability to pass it out from the back like that. And another additional sort of deep-lying playmaker. So when Nakamura does peel out into these positions, you've got someone in there in those central areas, stepping forward from centre-back in Yamashita.
Just want to pick out a little moment there when Yasser was quite annoyed about the foul on him. We'll come back to that in a second. Here is Kopitovic. And that is actually the worst chance that they've had so far.
But again, you know what? Saifullah has been given a yellow card for repeated fouling, persistent fouling, because Jensen Fu is very dramatically signaled that, you know, there's been 1, 2, 3, 4 infringements that have let you go. And so finally decided to bring out the yellow card.
I just want to go back to that point I was making earlier, that Yasser took exception to a challenge from Diego Lopez, got up, was about to react, and then shook the hand of Diego Lopez. And perhaps we've seen in the past where that reaction has let him down.
Well, again, with that opportunity, it's, again, good work from Tampines Rovers down this left-hand side. Getting players close to each other. It's overloading the Lion City Sailors' defense on this side of the pitch. And Boris Kopitovic, what he did really well, though, is created that line of pass and pinned himself against Haris Harun. And Haris just couldn't have any sort of impact. Lovely. I mean, he's turned away from pressure there against Taufik. The way they've worked this from left to right.
Lovely play from Kopitovic across to Chris Van Hoosen. Lovely shape on that, but this time Heikel pass it up to Diego Lopez. Here's Heikel. Needs a good ball here. Kim Shin-wook on the turn. He gets a shot away, but it's into the body of Ryan Sanizal. And they clear the danger. A little bit better.
Well, confirmation of the yellow card, which we mentioned earlier on. It was Saifullah, as we said. Just getting a confirmation of that. I was talking about Jensen Fu pointing out the 4 different fouls he committed on the pitch.
The question, Roshan, is of course keeping, as is with any team that plays like this, is to how long you can keep up that intensity for.
Yeah, and again, as you said, that those moments where they're on top, Tampines, and there've been a few of those. They just haven't been able to take the chances, and the danger is that the Lion City Sailors, we've seen now with Kim Shin-wook getting in the box.
Here's Van Looysen. It's a good ball into the box there. Well, they're just passing the ball around between Medovic and Kapitovic. Roshan, please tell me your thoughts on that.
Oh, what are they doing, Tampines?
They're passing.
I mean, they're enjoying themselves.
Well, the Tampines fans won't be enjoying themselves with this.
Let's have a look at this. Passing it amongst themselves in the penalty area. Kapitovic, I mean, he's leaning back as he hits it. Get your body over the ball. There's plenty of time for him as well. This is great.
This is great.
A little 1-2, but you know, he just, in that moment where he needs that technique to come through, to keep the ball down. I mean, he's leaning back. You look at that, he's leaning back as he hits it. And sends the ball sailing over the bar. The technique not bright on that occasion, but the approach play, brilliant.
I mean, they're trying to pass the ball into the back of the net at the moment. But such is their dominance, the only problem is it's 0-0. It's the kind of thing you see when perhaps you're up 5 goals. They still haven't gotten a score sheet here, but Taufik Suparno into the area. He's had a brilliant game. Still Taufik. He's going strong. Again. Just trying to lay that up for Kyoga Nakamura. Lion City Sailors are all over the place. There's no other way to describe it right now.
Yeah, Taufik again, you know, he's so dangerous down that left-hand side, and just that directness running at that Lion City Sailors defense. Look at them. They've been run ragged. Nakiurin looks like he's bending over. He wants his nightmare to end. Haris Harun's got this confused look on his face, hands on his hips.
I spoke to Haris a few days ago and I asked him what happened against Geylang International. He said it was one of those days. Well, I think it's one of those days again at the moment. It kind of just looks like it, feels like it. The only thing is that Tampines still haven't managed to score. Can that change here? Free header away, Amrul Adli. And the shot from Kyoga Nakamura is well over. You know, the feeling, he kind of gave me the impression when he spoke to me was that he kind of, they wanted to get that out of their way. They got the loss out early this season. He said that's a good thing. And then we look forward. But I don't know. Is there a hangover still to that?
Listen, the only positive right now for Lion City Sailors is that it's still goalless. Because they have not been in this game at all. And again, whether it's the fact that there's been issues with illness and injury in the build-up to this, maybe, perhaps, because they just don't look like they're in it at all. They don't look sharp, whereas Tampines...
Oh, he's going to get there first. That looks like it's going to be a penalty. Oh, the flag has gone up for Taufik Suparno. The flag has gone up. He was offside, but again, that looked really tight, I have to say. Well, Jansen Fu can't, he's got to follow what the assistant's saying there, isn't he? So I'm not sure what Tampines are. He's hurt himself as well, Hassan Sani.
Oh, he's just offside. He's just offside, Taufik, as the ball's played through. I mean, if he was on, 100% penalty. But flag's gone up.
Yeah, that's not in doubt, is it? That was definitely a foul.
Hassan, I mean, the moment he came flying out, just thought Taufik was going to get to that ahead of him. And he did, and he felt the impact of that collision. And then there's no way I think when he made that connection, he knew that he could be in trouble here. There was no way he would have noticed the flag going up.
Well, there's the foul for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's offside in that situation.
So yeah, there's no doubt that is offside there. But again, Roshan, is those runs, is those late runs. Yeah, he was offside, but they're just having, either they're on the last man or they're making those late runs. Why are they not picking up these guys at the moment? What's going on here?
Well, it's either a case of them not communicating or not spotting the runs early and not reading the situation. You know, there've been a couple of these occasions now. In that situation there, I mean, He's
Okay,
offside. So the
yes.
defense can easily say,
Yes.
We've kept our line. He's offside. You know, what else can you do? So on that occasion, it's not an issue, not a problem.
What we have seen, and here comes Yasser Hanapi. Oh, great work from Yasser. Tries to get that across to Kapitovic. Here's Diego Lopez. I mean, it's not a simple case of this is Haris Harun and Amarul Adli, because obviously it's normally Pedro, is it? Because they have played together before.
Yeah, but it's not just them. It's the whole side. The whole side just looks out of shape. And I mean that in terms of fitness-wise, but also tactically how they set up. The shape just is all over the place.
Well, they can't wait for half-time, I think. Lion City Sailors to reset. 9 minutes to go, and Tampines Rovers just want this half to continue for as long as possible. Ong Yuan back to Yamashita. Here's Van Huysen. Yamashita looks up. Look at the freedom there. Ong Yuan. Lovely again. Spreads the ball out wide. Kapitovic. Switch across to Taufik Suparno, who has been one of the stand-up performers. Here he is back in the ball. Irwan Shah, ball slipped through. Oh, that is a wild one from Taufik Suparno, but again, he is causing so many problems.
Yeah, these give and goes are just pulling this Lion City Sailors defense apart. They can't keep up with the pace of Tampines' game at the moment. I mean, terrible attempt from Taufik, but he's getting there in the penalty box again.
That set up quite nicely for him, didn't it?
Went out for a throw into the Lion City Sailors.
That's closer to the corner flag on that one, but again, getting themselves into that kind of position. Here's Yasser, slips it in to Boris Kapitovic. Memenovic has done well to get ahead of Diego Lopez. It goes as far as Irwan Shah. Here's Ong Yuan. Swarming around, aren't they, at the moment? Tampines Rovers. Nakamura. Now Ryan Sanizal. Look how congested it is now in the middle. Chris Van Huysen is waiting, but it's here. Kapitovic. Oh, Taufik Suparno wanted the ball. Now he's going to get it. Oh, I think he missed that. It was offside anyway. He is a constant goal threat, isn't he?
They're so good on the ball, Tampines Rovers. They've been a joy to watch in this first half, and this is a great example of just why Gavin is such a good coach and he's so highly rated. Just peeling off his marker. Perhaps just mistimed his run a little bit on that occasion, Taufik. Doesn't matter anyway. Didn't get a good connection on the header.
No, he didn't. You know, Roshan, again, we go back to that AIA Community Shield where we were just surprised at how deep and how little pressing there was from Lion City Sailors. And then they turned it around in the second half.
Yeah.
They had the ability to bring on Anu and shift Harris around as well, didn't they?
That's right, that changed the game for them in the second half.
Will that be able to stay in for Saifullah? And Huysen puts that out for a corner. No Anu today for that kind of change, but it's not like they haven't got resources on the bench.
Well, Saifullah did well there, just to keep that one in play and get the cross back into the penalty area, forcing a corner here for Lion City Sailors.
Taufik gets something on that. Nakamura. Here's Mehmedovic, absolutely everywhere. Tried to do a Rabona down the line. An indication of just where they feel things are at the moment, perhaps.
Well, they know they're on top. Not the best from Mehmedovic. Has that in his locker, sure.
Well, he started the game with no look passes.
Yeah.
There've been tricks and flicks from this whole team. There's a really good vibe about them, but of course they don't want to get sucker punched before half-time. Here's Diego Lopez. Taufik and Diego just squaring up. And a yellow card for Taufik.
I think just Diego Lopez, a combination of being frustrated with the way things have gone for his side, and also not too happy with the aggression shown by Taufik.
Easy one there for Shazwan, who quickly looks to release it, perhaps. A throw out to Mehmedovic. Here's Yasser Hanapi. There's some space to try and run into for Kapitovic, and well read by Amirul Adli. Well, I know you love things like XG, expected goals for Russian. I can't imagine what it would be like at the moment for Tampines Rovers at the end of this half.
Well, again, I think it's one of the tools available for coaching staff to use, right? It's not the be-all and end-all.
No.
And everything sort of has to come together. And
here's Kapitovic.
There's a tug on Harris's jersey, which is funny because initially I thought there was a tug on Kapitovic's jersey from Harris.
Yeah, I think he was actually saying that as well just now. A couple minutes left in this first half.
Yeah, I mean, going back to that XG thing, I don't know why you would disregard anything that you could use to sort of help you. You want to have more tools at your disposal, right? Nobody's an expert at everything. Some people might think they are, but the more help you get, the more sort of tools you have to use, I think the better overall picture you get.
The other thing, of course, we were having a very good chat, weren't we, at Albrecht's Nagata, about running stats and all that kind of stuff. Great data that teams have these days that you yourself were saying, gosh, I wish I had that in my time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps you as a player as well. I mean, we're moving away from this game temporarily. And I've also just been distracted by what looked like a hornbill flying across the pitch.
Talking about moving away from this game, the hornbill's had enough. But anyway, we digress. A minute left here. Here is Diego Lopez, out wide to Saifullah. Nice little touch on cushion touch for Nakurin. That's well done by Irwan Shah.
Well, yeah, just as that move fizzles out, just to go back to your point about Albrecht and the running stats.
Yes.
And I just think it's fascinating.
Please.
I think it'd be good insight for viewers out there, that what they're using is they're showing players the amount of sprints they're making in games.
Yeah.
And then what they do is they compare it to the amount of sprints teams in J1 and J-League 1 are doing. So it sort of says to the player, you're at 5 sprints, for example, you need to be at 8 or 10 if you want to, reach that next level.
Correct.
Which I think it's great as a player to hear. You sort of get that feedback on where you can improve in those situations.
Absolutely right. Of course, every Japanese player would want to play in the top flight of their domestic league, so it is a great motivational tool. Just the 1 minute left, so just a few seconds remaining. The Russian will be digesting this with John Dykes very shortly in the halftime show. And I suspect it'll be a very one-sided highlights package, Roshan.
I think there might be maybe a couple of Kim Shin-wook opportunities.
Block shots and headers.
In there. Yeah. One block shot and that header that he had.
That's about it though, right?
Yeah. I mean, other than that, I mean, there have been great chances for Tampines Rovers.
Is there one more? Ong Yuen yet? Nakamura. And there will be a final corner. They've already had beyond that 1 minute, by the way. But Jansen Fu will have that, let that corner take place now. That sat nicely, didn't it?
That's Ryan Sanizal.
Ryan Sanizal. Oh, what a way. Actually, it's ended the way it started, with Tampines Rovers absolutely rampant. Roshan, your very quick thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think the tough one to take for Tampines Rovers and their fans is just the fact that, you know, they haven't actually scored. With all the chances they've created, with the dominance that they've shown here, that they've not gotten a goal. And that's the positive, the only positive for the Lion City Sailors from their first half.
Thank you very much, Rish, Roshan Rai. That could well be one of the most dominant nil-nils, one-sided nil-nils you'll see in the first half of any SPL match this season, and probably a few more. Halftime score here at the Jalan Besar Stadium. It's Lion City Sailors 0, Tampines Rovers 0.
Welcome back to Jalan Besar, where bizarrely, remarkably, improbably, it's somehow Lion City Sailors 0, Tampines Rovers 0 at halftime. After a round which has seen 18 goals fly in already, somehow, Rishosha and Rai, we find ourselves looking here at a half. We'll get some stats away for you and look at the highlights. There was an absolute thrashing. A 0-0 thrashing, right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I've got this huge smile on my face because Tampines Rovers have just been a joy to watch in the opening 45. The only good news for the Lion City Sailors, as we have a look at some of these match stats, is the fact that it's still 0-0. Somehow, it's 0-0. Look at that, JD.
12 to 2.
12
okay,
shots to
only
2,
4 on target. That in
but
itself tells the story that you're about to tell, right?
Yeah, but I mean, the chance creation as well. Look at the quality of opportunities that Tampines Rovers have created. They should have scored. They should have been at least 2 goals up going into the halftime break. And I think, you know, that would be the frustrating thing from Gavin's point of view.
Yeah.
But the encouraging thing would be just how much dominance they've exerted and control they've exerted over the Lion City Sailors.
Brilliant start. Mehmedovic playing no-look passes for Van Ong Yuan, who's on the ball there, looking fantastic. Taufik Supano looking great. But this is the first of, I think, about 4 chances will show for Kapitovic missed.
Yeah, I mean, it's good pressure early on. Yase just does enough to put Diego Lopez off that pass forward. It's taken off his toes, and then Ong Yuan, who's playing in a midfield role, which is really great to see. I think he did a really good job alongside Kyoga Nakamura in those positions. Not quite happening for Kapitovic at the moment, but Taufik has been so lively off that left-hand side.
This is as close as they came. Beautiful move, because that actually just picked up Taufik's run halfway through, and then the second chance coming his way. That was a lovely move.
Yeah, Taufik's causing all sorts of issues from off that left-hand side, drifting into central positions with his directness, the ball at his feet as well. Takes on a couple of defenders. Here he is again. You know, puts the ball in there. And look at how much time they want on the ball here. There's a lot of sort of walking football at the moment from the Lion City Sailors. When I saw this first time, Jensen Fu quickly waves it away. But when I saw this first time, I thought, penalty. But the more I looked at that, I thought, okay, 50-50. I think I can accept it either way. If the referee gives it, I would have said, sure, it's a pen. If he doesn't, then he probably doesn't think
trying to get out the way, isn't he? I think he finds the contact and goes down, most likely there.
I mean,
but at this stage,
I think, knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
but they were all over Lion City Sailors.
Well, but look at this, and we need to talk about Lion City Sailors and what's wrong here. But it's the finishing, unfortunately, that's just let Tampines down.
Yeah, and I mean, Hassan Sani's goalkeeping as well as keeping the Lion City Sailors in this game. 2 big saves. First one, that Kapitovic chance that came back off the post, and then this one here. This is a crucial deflection. That he makes here, Hassan Sani. Yase, again, he's allowed that time and space to attack that back line, and Taufik, with the pace that he has, gets in behind and just can't quite find the finish.
Narrative. You give them an opportunity once, is all they need, and there it was. Diego Lopez opening them up, getting the cross in, and Shinwook with the head.
Well, this is the danger for the Lion City Sailors, for Tampines Rovers. The Lion City Sailors have that individual quality to change matches. As a team, they haven't been playing well, but if you get the right kind of service into Kim Shinwook, he can punish you. Fortunately for them on this occasion, they haven't taken that chance.
Meanwhile, normal service resumed back at the other end. More chances coming along. Yasser this time going round the keeper, but so wide he couldn't really expect.
Yeah, a difficult one for him to finish. But again, the encouraging thing here is the run that he makes to get in behind, and it's these runs from deeper positions in behind that defense are very difficult for them to pick up. Amiral, to his credit, does well to get himself back on the line, keep that one out.
Roshan, can we start talking a little bit about what's going wrong for LCS as well? If that's a Boris header that goes wide, why on earth no pressure? What's up with them?
You look at this Lion City Sailors side, right, and you look at the gaps. The gaps between individual players are far too big. There's no compactness in this side. Between individual players, between the units, defense, midfield, and attack, they're just too far apart. Let's have a look at this here again, and how they're playing pinball essentially here. They can exchange passes in the penalty area. That back line is all over the place. The Amiral goes out to press. Harris wants to drop off.
Why doesn't he hit the first one?
Yeah. Look at it, the first one, plays it back, gives it again, and I mean, he just leans back as he hits it, Kapitovic there. You want him leaning over the ball technically to hit that and try and trouble Hassan.
All right, what happens now? Because for Tampines, it's a difficult half-time team talk, because it surely must be, guys, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, but there's this cloud hanging over them, isn't there, against a team that we know can grab a goal.
They can change the tempo in the second half, the Lion City Sailors. I mean, we haven't seen any evidence of that in the first half.
Well, they can't be any worse, can they?
It can't get any worse. I mean, it can in terms of if Tampines actually start converting the chances, then it gets worse for the Lion City Sailors, but they will actually be looking at that as a positive. You know, we were so bad, so poor in the first half, but hey guys, listen, we've got the second 45 to change things up. You need to inject that pace in your game, that tempo and intensity. Make sure you're moving as a team now. That organization has got to be better from the Lion City Sailors. For Tampines Rovers, it's about maintaining the concentration, because they have been creating opportunities, and Kevin will be saying, please keep your composure, please finish off one of the countless number of chances that you created.
All right, Roshan, thank you very much. It may be 0-0, but it's been anything but dull, and that's in keeping with the trend of this weekend already. What lies in store for us in the second half? Find out when we return here at Jalan Besar after this.
Welcome back to Jalan Besar Stadium, where if you've seen replays of Lion City Sailors in the last few matches, well, it is kind of a deja vu. They have not had a very good first half, but unlike most other games, they have already conceded by now. In this case, Tampines Rovers have not been able to score, but not Roshan because of lack of trying.
Tampines have been so much fun to watch in that first half, and really they deserve, I think, at least a couple of goals from their performance, because they've been the dominant side. They've been controlling the game, the tempo of it, and it's like they can slow it down when they want, they can speed it up if they need to. They've gotten in behind the Lion City Sailors defense, they just haven't been able to find that finishing touch, but been on top, the defending champions, for most of that 45 minutes, if not all of that, first half. Wonderful. I mean, the exchange of positions, the passes, the way they're moving it, playing with lots of confidence. Kapitovic pitting himself against the likes of Haris in those areas. Taufik, looking very lively off that left-hand side. Just the frustration is that they haven't capitalized on that in terms of scoring those goals. And the danger, again, is that Lion City Sailors have the capacity to change the game in the second half. It's encouraging for them that it's still 0-0. They weren't in the game at all, but it's still going to halftime 0-0. And that's something the coach will use and will say to his players, fine, we were poor, but we got away with it. Make sure it doesn't happen in the second half. And now it's your turn to step up the intensity and and try and punish this Tampines Rovers side.
What we've seen from Kim Do-hoon, especially this season, he makes what some might call statement substitutions at half-time, and brings on 1 or 2, sometimes even 3 players for the second half, right at the start of the second half, and it has had an impact, of course. They've won a couple of matches like that, but they've looked so languid and really behind, not behind the ball. If you had to say which is the star-studded team here that is about to go to the Champions League and plays the champagne football, well, it's Tampines Rovers at the moment you'd be looking at, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that's the scary thing here, right? Because you're thinking about Tampines Rovers in the Champions League last season, and they got destroyed, demolished, and the hope is that the Lion City Sailors don't bring that kind of form into that competition, because then the same thing is going to happen to them. Is there an excuse for early days, and is there an excuse to sort of say that, yeah, the preparations haven't been great because there's been perhaps COVID in the squad, in and amongst the squad, injuries, illnesses, but
that's not really going to fly with opposition fans, is it?
It isn't. Yeah. I mean, an opposition fan is just going to look at that and say, yeah, okay, deal with it. Other clubs have had to deal with it. Tanjong Pagar, in their first game against Albirex, had like cases of COVID.
They didn't want to play a game. Were forced to play. Yeah. Were compelled to play and won.
And they won that game. And we've seen it affect other teams as well in the competition. So
they didn't even have a full subs bench.
No.
So yeah,
you just sort of got to get on with it. And then when you look at this, the depth, the quality in the squad, I mean, they're still putting out international level players.
I mean, we're waiting. It's interesting. They haven't come out yet. Tampines Rovers are there in the huddle. Not a sign of anyone from LCS. Now we're seeing Hassan Sani come on. And I just wonder, Roshan, I think we are going to have a change. I just see the assistant referee ready with the board. So we've got Hafiz Noor, Hamish Shahin, Maxime Lestienne, of course, is the obvious one for many people. Gabriel Quack has just returned from injury. And we are hearing that Hafiz Noor is going to come on for Saifullah Akbar. Your thoughts on that one, Rosh?
Yeah, a change that makes sense. You know, you get that pace and that directness of Hafiz Noor coming in one of the wider positions. You can sort of feed it into him. You know he's always going to look to try and take his defenders on. And it also looks like actually number 27, Adam Swandi, is getting ready to come on as well.
And we're also hearing that Nakuddin Yunus is off and Adam Swandi is in. So who's going to play right back?
Yeah, that's one to keep an eye on. There's going to be a bit of restructuring here.
Is there a Van Huysen type move for Lion City Sailors? So we're waiting to see what they do here.
I mean, one of the other options they have is to perhaps even go into a back three and play with
wing-backs.
Wing-backs, maybe Hafiz Noor as a wing-back, Haikal Pasha on the left-hand side, and Adam Swandi in more of a central position. But let's see how things go. I mean, those are the options for them.
They're a bit short in the fullback department at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, actually, Hafiz Noor looks like he's going to be playing it right back. That's an interesting one.
So it is a Chris Van Huysen
style
change.
Song has stayed on the right-hand side, and Adam Swandi.
Now, the question that you and I were pondering in that first half, Roshan, is if they can sustain this, Tampines Rovers.
Yeah. And I think one of the things they really did well, because they were so in control of the tempo of the first half and the intensity, they were never really troubled. They weren't really chasing a lot because they had so much of the ball.
True.
That what they were able to do, nice little foot race here, what they were able to do, Tampines, was to slow down the game in possession and to rest in possession. Rest when they had the ball. I mean, so they could work hard off it to try and win it back.
They had so much of the ball, didn't they? It was all inside Lion City Sailors' half. Kapitovic, look where he is. Forward by Van Huysen, who's had some lovely balls across to Taufik Suparno. Here's Harris. Now Diego Lopez. This is Haikal Pasha.
Yeah, Nakiuddin was struggling in the first half, wasn't he? The number 19, the right back, you know,
that's where they found most joy, right? Tampines?
Yeah. That's where they were looking to try and attack the Lion City Sailors back line on that left-hand side, or Lion City Sailors right. So he just really looked out of shape, Nakiuddin.
Diego Lopez, there's a chance here! And it's at a good height, isn't it, for Shazwan Buhari?
Well, Johnson Fu's just waving away claims from Tampines that there was a foul in the lead up to that. Let's have another look at this. Kyoga Nakamura, there's a shove on his back. I mean, that's a clear-cut foul. It's just fortunate for Johnson Fu that Lion City Sailors didn't score. I mean, that's 100% a free kick.
Wow.
Well, should have been a free kick.
Well, perhaps justice served then with Shazwan safe. Had that gone in, boy, that would have been a big talking point. Here's Amirul, excuse me. Offside. Yamashita looking at his options, and just see Kapitovic says, I want it on my head. And here it comes. It's a little bit lower than perhaps he wanted, but here he is. Yasser. Mehmedovic has just cleaned up that bit of confusion, perhaps. He's got Diego Lopez right on him. Lopez seems a bit fired up in the second half.
It's good shielding of the ball by Mehmedovic. He's getting tugged by Diego Lopez. I think too many questions about that. Yasser has just taken a kick from Kim Shin-wook. He's received it, headed it back down, and Adam's now got a bit of space in midfield to work with, although Yasser has gone down there.
He's not happy with that, and you can understand why. Kim Shin-wook comes across, not showing too much sympathy. And yes, just waving him away. Kapitovic, the peacemaker. There seems to be some frustration coursing through this Lion City Sailors team at the moment, Roshan, and that's understandable, isn't it?
You know, this is one of the things I miss about playing at times. It's that talking to the opposition, and you know, you're always trying to get under each other's skin at times.
I like how you said talking. Because it probably is anything but talking.
You know, just trying to annoy each other.
Yeah.
It's fun, you know, isn't it? I mean,
yeah. Trust me, I've been on the receiving end of your annoying comments, so I know full well you clearly miss playing football, Roshan.
It's all about give and take, Shez.
It is. It is.
Some better at that than others.
Thank you for letting me have a word in now. So back to the game, and here's Chris Van Huysen with the throw-in. So, Roshan, the pattern we've seen, right, is, as Amiral puts that out of play, is there's a reaction, isn't there, from Lion City Sailors in the second half, and it's almost an immediate reaction. Have you had that yet in the first 5 minutes of the second half?
From the Sailors, that reaction. I mean, you expect a reaction from them. They have to. They have to be. I mean, how much worse can they get in terms of performance-wise?
Correct.
That first half.
You said the only thing that could get worse is to concede.
Concede, yeah. And I mean, you see that bite now. You see that bite.
Yes, a bit more of that,
right? A bit more of that. The intensity. They're going into challenges harder now, and you know, making themselves felt in this game. I see that right on the byline. Diego Lopez working hard defensively. I mean, that's always a sign of a reaction, right? When you get the number 10, the creative player.
He's all over the place at the moment, isn't he?
Putting himself about.
Yeah.
That defensive side of the game.
Well, look at that. Look at that. Yamashita wants a header ahead of Kim Shin-wook, and that's not the first time you and I have noticed that kind of thing.
It's a great header by Yamashita as well. Not just heading it away, but his header finds a teammate and they keep possession of the ball.
Then proceed to give a ball away. Here come Lion City Sailors. Adam Swandi in that side now. Here's Haikal Pasha. He wanted the ball in that channel. It's really nicely done by Kyoga Nakamura.
That's good work by Kyoga Nakamura. Making sure he tracks back, tracks the run from deep. Follows it all the way and lets it run out for a goal kick to Tampines.
How do you feel? I think I've asked you this before, but how do you feel about Adam Swandi playing a more central role than, say, out wide?
No, I think he's more effective in those central positions. I think he's better in those areas, so he can have more of an impact on the game. I don't think it really works for him out wide in those areas of the pitch. Doesn't quite have that pace, you know, to accelerate it or take defenders on. That's not really his game, but he's an intelligent player, good technique on the ball.
Harris to Diego Lopez. Now Haikal. He looks up. He's got Kim Shin-wook. But that looked like a foul by Chris Van Huysen. But the referee has no hesitation in pointing to the spot. There is a big protest here from Tampines Rovers. A reaction might just tell us a story as well. They're vehement in their protests here.
Listen, the referee had a better view of this because I was looking at it from behind, from this angle, and it looked to me like a great challenge. It looked to me like he got something off the ball, on the ball, sorry. Let's just have a closer look at that. I think he gets the ball, but my viewpoint is from behind that challenge. It's from behind Haikal Pasha. Referee Jensen Fu is looking at it directly, so he's closer to the action. He's got a better view of that, and I think from the referee's perspective, he sees a tackle from behind. He looks at it, he sees it from behind. He sees Haikal Pasha racing in towards goal, and he says, "Got to give a penalty."
So you can see why.
You can see why it's been given. From my viewpoint, I thought Chris Van Huysen actually got the ball with that challenge.
Now, can Shazwan Buhari keep this out? Kim Shin-wook. Oh my God, a Panenka. Gutsy from the Korean. And that's the confidence of this man. Kim Shin-wook gives Lion City Sailors an unlikely lead here at Jalan Besar Stadium. And that is a real sucker punch for Tampines Rovers.
Yeah, sickening one for Tampines. And there was encroachment as well. Have a look at number 25, Haikal Pasha. Look at where he is. Look right in front of the referee. Yeah, look, it's a sickening blow for Tampines. The fact that you've controlled large parts of this game. And I said it, you know, you didn't take your chances in the first half when you were on top. Lion City Sailors have this quality in the individual moments. In these moments, haven't played well as a team, but individual players who can change the game just in that sort of split second. Get a decision that goes against you, and Kim Shin-wook puts that one away. Such a well-taken penalty. Credit to him.
Well, that has got to hurt. That will take a little bit of the wind out of the sails of this Tampines side, who are so impressive. And that's the second goal of the season, Kim Shin-wook, in the SPL. Let's see if that changes the complexion of this game now. There's Taufik still, Taufik! He's done everything right except finish today.
This guy right here, Hassan Sani, easily Lion City Sailors' best player. And that tells you what you need to know about how good Tampines have been.
And not because of that ball rolling to him, obviously. Good saves. Just to give the context if anyone's just joined.
Thanks for clarifying that. He's pulled off a few big saves in this match.
Yes.
If you're just joining us.
Yeah. Yeah, first half was very good, wasn't he? But I wonder now if that is the platform that they need. Lion City Sailors. Ikram, Haikal. Not sure he meant that. Now Mehmedovic. You can see what the idea was. It's too close, isn't it, to Hassan? The problem here as well, Roshan, as this match progresses, and we touched on it in the first half, is there are no real experienced players to call upon for Tampines, and just a bit we'll come back to that. Ball stood up by Hafiz Noor. Adam Swandi. Now Diego Lopez. Just a bit more zip about their passing at the moment. Adam Swandi goes wide. Hafiz Noor. Haris Harun, everyone now inside the Tampines half. This is something we haven't seen yet from Lion City Sailors. This is probably their best spell of possession.
Well, lifting the confidence levels now for Lion City Sailors.
Just a question, Rushan, for you on that goal. We are talking about a player who's not a natural fullback. I know we felt that he could have got some touch on the ball anyway. We'll come back to that. Touch on there from Kim Shin-wook. There will be a goal kick. That was a chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, you see Lion City Sailors here in the second half, a higher starting position. Able to win the ball back higher up the pitch. Played in behind. It's a good run, well defended by Yamashita. There's, again, coming together there. Yase has gone in and stepped in as a captain.
I love that. There's about 1.5 foot difference between the two. He never backs down, does he, Yasa Hanapi?
No, he doesn't.
But that also gets him into trouble quite a bit.
I think it was just some contact. Kim Shin-wook on Yamashita. Yase wasn't too happy about.
Would that have been a yellow for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to ask you that on that point again about Van Huysen. I'm not trying to portion blame here, but Was that a bit of an experience being the fullback? Was that being harsh?
I mean, there's a tendency at times to look at that, and because of the outcome, you kind of then sort of say with your analysis, go back and say,
could have been,
outcome bias, which is something that, you know, it's important to be aware of. I mean, look, I've seen natural fullbacks lose their man,
of course,
in those situations.
We'll come back to this discussion of outcome bias for Russian as Taufik Supano steams forward. Taufik, and that was a pretty innocuous shot. It took a lot of topspin there.
I mean, he did get caught wrong side and didn't quite pick up the run early enough, Van Heusen. But again, I've seen natural defenders in those positions anyway make those sorts of mistakes. So I don't necessarily think it's a case of. It would be so easy to just go, yeah, it's because he's not a natural right. So, but I don't think that's always the case.
Here's Diego Lopez. Yes, I can't believe that's a foul. Adam Swandi now to Diego Lopez. Song Woo-young. Diego has kept that in. Adam Swandi. Oh, look at that. Crowd enjoying his little tricks. Foul by Taufik Supano. It's kind of all going Lion City Sailors' way at the moment.
He's got that about him, Adam Swandi, the ability to hang on to the ball under pressure, throw a couple of step-overs in, invite challenges. He's done well to win a free kick. Wasn't really going anywhere. Gotta love how players always Taufik there as well. He knows he's just fouled Adam. When he goes to the referee and goes, no, I didn't do anything. It's that auto appeal system that all players have.
Here's Shadow Solomon with the free kick. It's gone short. Haikal Pasha. That came off Irwan Shah. Yeah, so what I was saying earlier in the piece is that they don't have too many options, do they, Tampines Rovers, on the bench for them, especially in the experience department.
Yeah.
Mark Ryan Tan might be someone you might look at, perhaps. Probably the most experienced of the lot. Irfan Najib, of course, has played, but he's a defensive-minded player.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it. Mark Ryan Tan perhaps is the most attacking of those options. Iman Hakim could come in and add a bit in midfield as well. I think they will be looking to try and change things up a little bit.
That's offside. He waves his hand at the assistant, Haikal Pasha. Definite change, of course, in the way this game has played, the complexion now since that goal. Yamashita, Nakamura, lovely from him. Scoops it up, looking for Kapitovic. Amrul Adli saw the problem.
That's good defending from Ryan, you know, it just would have hurt as well. Took a kick straight to the face.
Yeah, he's still clutching his face. Yeah, it's Ikram Rifki. Very different looking Lion City Sailors at the moment. That's onside. Oh, that's offside given to. Took a while, didn't he, to make that call, the assistant on Song Woo-young. Ryan Sanizal is just on his haunches at the moment.
Yeah, he took a kick to his face at the halfway line. I think you can see it from that replay. Mistimes his run. Song Woo-young.
Nice turn there from Wong Yuan.
some movement on the Tampines Rovers bench. Players who are off warming up are being called in. They look like they are going to make those changes. 21 and 57, Firdaus Kasman and Adam Rifdi.
Interesting choices. Talked about Adam Rifdi earlier, 17 years of age. Here is Chris Van Huysen. I just wonder whether that pushes Van Huysen further up the pitch, Roshan. That might be something to look at. Which will give them more attacking impetus, you'd think.
Yeah, it pushes him forward. That's one option for them.
Irfan Najib also can play at full-back, of course, and a centre-back. But he is not being called up at the moment. Harris gets that away. Shinhook. Not a good ball from him, but Medovic couldn't control it. Jalan, now a problem perhaps. Oh, Namashta. Important from him to get that touch. Medovic. He's onside, Medovic. Oh, and he just couldn't get the ball away. Wonderful from Ikram Rifki.
Quicker. Needs to be quicker. Again, it's a really good run. The approach play, nothing wrong. A longer ball over the top, a longer pass over the top, I should say. Good recovery from Ikram. Just gets caught with that run of Medovic. As he sets himself there, you're just saying, have a shot quickly. Instead, he's looking to try and cut it across the face of goal.
But that's the first time they've got behind the defence in the second half, I think.
Second half, yeah. I think you'd be right.
They were doing that quite a lot in the first, weren't they? Now, a corner here. They've decided to obviously delay the substitutions till after this corner. Taufik with the header. And now they will make those changes, it looks like. So Firdaus Kasman, the veteran midfielder, former Singapore international, comes on for Taufik. Nong Yuan comes off for Adam Rifdi.
Yeah, so it is, as you pointed out, Ches, Van Huysen pushing forward on that right-hand side. Adam going into right back. Firdaus moving into more of a central position, taking over Nong Yuan that role.
Would you have liked to have seen Taufik perhaps stay on a little bit longer, given the damage he's caused? Keeper has just fluffed his lines there. Oh, the flag has gone up.
Oh, no. No way.
Offside.
Is he saying Yase is offside? He's flagging.
Manoj Kalwani under real pressure here from the players. Can't be putting your hands on the officials, but they are really angry about this decision.
Listen, they're well within their rights to ask why.
Yeah.
They need to explain what's going on here. It's punched out. Yase's.
Are they saying it's Yasser?
It's
for interfering with play?
For interfering with the goalkeeper, with Hassan.
He's nowhere near him.
Oh.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's pointed at Yasser. Wow.
That's really unfortunate for Tampines.
He's been on the pitch for 20 seconds, Firdaus Kasman, and he's been denied what looked a legitimate goal.
Listen, I think it's... Well, let's come back to it because there's a change about to happen here.
Haikal Pasha is being replaced by Hamish Shahin. And, well, a lot happening at the moment. That might just put Diego Lopez a bit further up the pitch. What a moment for that young man, Adam Rifdi. Haven't had a chance to talk about him.
Yeah, honestly though, I would have given that as a goal. That's my call. But I just want to try and explain what the assistant referee is thinking. And it's quite simple from his perspective. His flag has gone up because he feels that Yase is gaining an advantage for the team by being in an offside position because he's affecting Hassan Sani's ability to make a save.
He was behind.
That's the rationale. It's not something that I agree with, but that's how he would sort of explain it. That's the rationale behind it.
And the argument back to that was he was behind the goalkeeper when that shot went in.
Yeah. Look, I mean, look, I'm quite clear. I'm saying I would have given the goal. But I'm not a referee. I'm not an assistant referee. That's just my opinion.
Here's Adam Swandi. Well, talking points. The first was a penalty that was given, and now this goal that's been disallowed. Both have gone against Tampines Rovers. They will be very, very upset with that and fired up. Still 20 minutes left in this game. Sorry, Roshan.
Sorry to interrupt you, Shaz. I'm just trying to recall when the first cross came in, whether Yase was already in an offside position. Not from what I remember. I think it's at second phase.
Yeah,
right.
It was a second, because he immediately pointed at Yasser, and he raised the flag after that shot, right?
Anyway, on we go.
And on Tampines have to go. It is deflating, isn't it? Especially you look at the context of the match. You have to pick yourself up, obviously.
The context of the game, very disappointing and really frustrating for Tampines. And look, you can't help but feel for them from a neutral's perspective.
I'm detecting that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just the way they've played today. You know, it's
been a joy, isn't it?
It's been really good to watch.
Here's Nakamura. There's still time, of course. And he's pulled down by Shadan. He's surely... Well, he's not going to get a booking.
I think he's feeling a bit of cramp as well there, Kyoga Nakamura. He's worked very hard. He's been very creative. Tampines getting forward into these advanced positions. Shadan pulled him back. I'm just waiting to see if there is going to be a caution here, because Nakamura just breezes past him.
No card. Dished out. It's tense on the field, I think. Fair to say.
Yeah, he's gone down with cramp, Kyoga Nakamura. He's getting treatment from Van Huysen and Ikram.
So, free kick here.
Well, there's another look at that from this angle. I mean, Hassan is really clever. Straight away, he points towards Yase. There's no problem from the first delivery.
Correct.
It's the second one here, this second phase. And Yase, I mean, does his best to try and get out of the way.
If anything, yeah. Mehmedovic trying to just curl that round. It's just two big blows, isn't it, for Tampines Rovers.
Another look at this free kick. See what Mehmedovic is trying to do. Set it out a bit too far wide of the goal. Listen, it's open to your interpretation out there. I'm sure there'll be some viewers out there, fans out there, will be thinking that that was the correct call. All that matters is the team of officials here decided that he was interfering with play. He's getting an advantage from being in an offside position, and they've chalked off the goal.
Here's Kapitovic. Still time, of course, for Tampines Rovers. Ball over the top. Oh, and it's something acrobatic! And of course, the flag almost inevitably goes up.
What have they got to do here, Tampines?
They've done everything. Everything but score.
What an effort from Mehmedovic.
He's not really contesting this one.
Again, it's that run from a deeper position. The technique is excellent. Let's have a look at this here. Oh, that's a tight goal, I think.
Denying a great goal.
I think he's just onside. That is such a close call. That was off.
I think
I don't know.
I think it's on there.
Look on to me. It looked on to me. again, make up your own minds.
Well, you can have a very long post-match show with John Dykes after this. There is a lot to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't like it when a post-match analysis is based a lot on refereeing decisions and controversies and things like that.
Oh, but it's great.
But there have been some that we will obviously have to discuss, because I think there's been a lot to look at from a footballing perspective.
Absolutely.
That's been wonderful.
Oh, come on, Russian. It'll be good fun to talk about this, wouldn't it? it's great chat. Great down chat after the match, looking at this, and it's been a really good game of football. And talking points. Kyoga Nakamura having a go now, and he's got Kopitovic staring at him.
Now, again, let's remember, sitting in a position here where we get the chance to look at replays.
True.
Team of officials have got to make these decisions in the moment.
I can only imagine how people are feeling, Tampines Rovers fans, but still, 15 minutes left in this game.
Tell you what, how about that finish, though?
Oh, great.
I mean, it snuck under the arms of, under the body of Hassan.
Diego Lopez will get a booking. There have been a few challenges from him in the second half in particular.
Yeah, I think it's because he's gone in with his studs showing in that situation.
I was expecting a very graphic 1, 2, 3 fouls. Here is that challenge.
Just the way he's gone in, that's high, studs are showing,
So,
not in control.
So, Roshan, you know, from an analyst point of view now, time and time again, you've seen players get behind that defence, the Lion City Sailors defence. How concerned would you be?
Very concerned. As we see, it looks like Adam's going to pick up a yellow card now.
Adam Rifty. In the first half, it was almost at will, wasn't it?
Yeah,
getting behind.
It's those runs from deeper positions. The timing of the runs have been very good. It's difficult sometimes defensively. It requires a lot of awareness of the situation around you, good reading of the game, communication between teammates as well.
Is that for you the biggest concern today as far as Lion City Sailors are concerned?
Yes, and I mean, look, it's not just that. They just haven't looked like they've been in this game at all. And it's strange to say because they're a goal up.
Kim Shin-wook. Hamish Shaheen. That's a good ball, isn't it? Out wide to Hafiz Noor. Song Wee-young, he's been quiet in the second half. Adam Swandi.
I mean, it's been a better second half from the Lion City Sailors.
Yeah, goal aside.
Yeah, goal aside. But, I mean, I think they've still been under threat. You know, they haven't kept Tampines Rovers at bay.
Now, was there a foul on Yasser Hanapi? He stayed down. It's Diego Lopez, by the way, who just got a yellow card.
Well, he's waving for the play to continue. He's waving for the advantage. But there's no advantage for Tampines. If anything, the momentum of the move has stopped. Ball's gone backwards. They've had to recycle it. Now they've had to kick it out so that one of their own players can receive treatment.
So why does the referee then go to Diego Lopez and say, cut it out?
Here.
Well,
it's a clear foul.
That's my point. Why say cut it out when it's a clear foul?
Listen, I tell you what. I think what's playing on the referee's mind here is that he's already booked him.
That shouldn't matter, though, should it? A yellow's a yellow, right?
You'd like to think that would be the case.
So when he says cut it out, it's a foul's a foul. That is a yellow card offence. I'm not sure what Diego Lopez is mounting his defence here with.
Well, perhaps what saves him there was a tug on his jersey, a little bit of a tug on his jersey from him, and that's what he's arguing with the referee. Listen,
so what, I retaliated by tugging on his?
Yeah, listen, I'm just trying my best to give you any possible explanation as to why that might have been the case. But this is not good news for Yase. He's fallen over on his shoulder.
Let's hope it's not dislocated or worse, because they're being very careful. It's a very similar sort of thing we saw with Gabriel Kwak, remember, in the AFF Suzuki Cup a couple months ago. He's back on the bench today. That's great news as far as Lion City Sailors are concerned. There is a change here.
Tampines Rovers, number 7, Yase Hanapi, replaced by 14, Mark Ryan Todd.
So we did think Mark Ryan Town would come on at some point, and we really hope that he is okay. Yase Hanapi, so early in the season. It's just getting from bad to worse for them, their situation here. They're about 10 minutes to go. They're trailing by a goal. They've lost their skipper, who's been very, very good today, hasn't he, Roshan? Yes, sir.
He has been. And there was a clear foul, and there was no advantage. That's happened again, and this time the yellow card's going to come out.
So how is that? And you know what I mean? This is where it upsets.
It's for Hami.
The fans. The yanking down of a player. That instance, they got a yellow card. There's confirmation of it. Lopez. Now Hami Shahin. Back to Haris Harun, the Lion City Sailors skipper. Closed down there by Zerdi Mehmedovic. That goes just past Firdaus. Now Diego. He's waiting and waiting. That back heel didn't quite work for him. Some tired bodies out there. Shadan Sulaiman. Kim. Now Ikram Rifki. Here's Diego Lopez. Keeping the ball well now, Lion City Sailors, for the final 10 minutes of this match. No foul. Kim Shin-wook is asking the question, though, to Jansen Fu. He can't believe it. The irony of it, right?
The challenge. I mean, that was really good to see. I mean, Ryan Sun is 19 years old, going up against Kim Shin-wook.
He's won a couple of those, isn't he?
Boom.
There was a groan from the crowd. Now, Chris Van Ozen can't get there. Haris Harun does. There's a player down here. Ikram is just clutching his groin. They have a serious fullback issue at the moment. This is not what they need, Lion City Sailors.
It looks like Gabriel Quack is actually getting ready to...
Today is about wingers being fullbacks, isn't it? It's a bizarre day in football.
Yeah, listen, just go on and do a job for us.
I don't think I've ever seen a game of football with 3 wide players, attacking wide players, being fullbacks in the same match. Let's see. Yeah, it is going to be Gabriel Quack coming on. I managed to catch up with him as well a few days ago, have a chat about how things were. And he was really keen to get back. So he was hungry for action and he'd been working hard. And he thought it might be in a couple of weeks. So this is ahead of schedule. And boy, couldn't have come sooner now. He's not looking happy, that Ikram Rifki. Remember, he's taken over that left back role since the injury to Noor Adam. And it does seem like Gabriel will have to fill in there.
Ikram Rifki has been so unfortunate with injuries over the last couple of years. He's another one of those players that you just want to see, you know, get some uninterrupted game time. You feel for him.
Nakamura.
Ikram had a terrible knee injury. I think it's for season with the Sailors. Then he went to get some game time away on loan, picked up a hamstring injury at Geylang. Now this as well. Ikram's back on for the moment. See for how long?
So relief for Gabriel that he doesn't have to necessarily fill that role. Would he come on for perhaps Diego Lopez? Well, it's Song Woo-young. He's been pretty quiet, hasn't he, in this game, Song?
Yeah, he has, and I think it's something that he's touched on as well. The fact that he's playing in a different role this season for the Lion City Sailors. He's playing more in those wider positions, Song. And it's something that he's sort of having to adjust to. He said, you know, yeah, I'll play wherever the coaches want me to play, but again, it does take some time to adjust and sort of really get into the flow of the role you're being asked to play, especially if it's an unfamiliar one.
Good news for the Lion City Sailors, good news for Singapore. He was one of their, looking like one of their most potent attackers in the AFF Suzuki Cup until he sustained that injury against the Philippines. Singapore involved in a triangular very, very soon. Here's Adam Swandi. Gabriel making the run. Irwan Shah is there. Here's Mark Ryan Tan. I haven't seen much of him since his introduction. Gonna have a fair bit of added time, of course, today, I think, with all these stoppages. Here's Diego Lopez. So a nudge from Adam Rifty, one of the youngest footballers in the SPR, up against the most expensive player. That's a little moment for him. Irwan Shah coming on. Admiral Heikel will get a little cameo.
Substitution for Tampines Rovers, 17, Irwan Shah, replaced by number 12, Admiral Heikel.
And Gavin has never made any bones about wanting to blood youngsters and give them their opportunity, has he?
No, that's not been an issue. And, you know, he's quite willing. Oof, that's it. Strong. Coming together.
Well, he's giving as good as he gets, isn't he, Mark Ryan Tan?
So is Hafiz now. He's jumping into everything. Great to see. Lovely battle there. Tampines come away with it. Oh, just momentarily before its pass is given away. Cut out by Adam. Oh, Nakamura, look at that. Oh.
He can't believe it. And neither can Firdaus. And there's a perception at the moment that just things aren't going their way.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like everything is going against them. Tampines. There's this real sense of injustice. You know, penalty given against them when they'd feel it was a clean challenge. Goal disallowed. The decision's not going their way.
Here's Gabriel.
I mean, if they don't come away with anything from this, they'll look back at that first half where they were on top of the Lion City Sailors and the chances they created. I mean, at the end of the day, I know I'll say they don't deserve to lose, but again, deserved in football is a it's a strange.
I remember you on your soapbox telling me about that before.
Because I mean, if you don't take your chances and they haven't,
then you don't deserve it. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
I mean, the performance has been very good. It's been a lot of fun. But ultimately, the game is about
results, right?
Scoring goals, scoring more than your position.
So let's go back to that cliche where you're playing badly, but you're still grinding out the results. Sign of a good team, as far as Lion City Sailors are concerned. But we're seeing this too often at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really as easy as that. A lot of factors come into it, and to just point it down to one thing, I don't know. I struggle with it at times. Anyway, can we focus back on the game?
But it's an interesting contrast, isn't it? Because you've got a team here that has dominated, been wonderful to watch, but haven't taken their chances. A team that have been poor today by their high standards and are probably going to win this.
Yeah.
And that has been the story of Lion City Sailors this season.
That's right. I mean,
it's early days again. I agree.
Early days, but they've been winning games, I guess, despite playing poorly, except against Jalan. They were poor against Jalan.
Yeah.
didn't deserve anything out of that one.
Here's Mehmedovic. Nakamura is there. He'll go back to Yamashita. See how much out of time we get, because a lumber of stoppages. Chris Van Huysen, can there be a dramatic finish to this game? Kyo Nakamura, last push for Tampines Rovers. Here's Adam. Now Firdaus, they're asking him to send it in. And that's too easy for Hassan Sani.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be 4 minutes of added time.
Oh, just the 4 minutes in the end.
Easy enough claim for Hassan Sani. That occasion, spent a long time in the air, that one. Wide of goal as well. Still time for Tampines Rovers to get something from this one.
Here's Kyogo Nakamura. Now Chris Van Huysen's a decent ball in. Oh, he's looking for something spectacular there. Mark Ryantan, Hafiz Noor was there. Now Gabriel, are they a bit stretched here? Oh, that's a foul from Firdaus, who has no protest this time.
Yeah, I think he knew what he had to do there, Firdaus. He was caught in behind. Gabriel skipped past him. There was open space for Gabriel to run into. Knew exactly what he was doing, Firdaus. No complaints about that yellow card. There's another look at that. Gabriel had that space to run into. It's a late challenge. No chance of winning the ball there, Firdaus.
It's not bad, is it, Roshan, that you get to not have to use your Champions League player. The player's experience of UEFA Champions League is sat on the bench today, Maxime Lestienne.
Yeah. Well, apparently he was one of those as well who's not quite been feeling 100%. So I haven't had to bring him on.
Here's Kim Shin-wook. Just over 2 minutes left in this match.
So from the Lion City Sailors' perspective, for all the difficulties that they've had coming into this game, for how poor they've been in this one, what a brilliant result. 3 points. When you haven't played well.
Boy, I bet Tanjong Pagar are feeling gutted as well, looking at this.
Well, I think they stay top of the table, don't they? Oh.
Free kick here. For the Lion City Sailors, just where they want things to be right now.
Yeah, breathing a sigh of relief here because got my maths spot on.
Which was?
Lion City Sailors, they don't go top. Tanjong Pagar will keep their position top of the table.
That's what I meant. I'm sure that Tanjong Pagar, well, we'll come back to that, our maths issues. Here's Kyogo Nakamura in terms of having some breathing space between themselves. If Japanese had put one of those goals in.
Oh, anywhere will do now. You know, he wanted to try and play it back to Hassan, but he was getting closed down so quickly by Mehmedovic and Kapitovic.
One last opportunity. That looked to be a free kick. Right. Now you pile everyone on. Are we going to see Shazwan up there?
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't quite have the height, so perhaps it will make a big difference. It'll just cause a bit of confusion, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was a foul. I mean, Mehmedovic is really clever. He just gets his body in the way. He knows the challenge is coming in, and there's a shove in the back. Not the smartest of decisions from Hami. You know, to put his side under pressure this late on.
This will be it as far as the match is concerned. Van Huysen, he's got great delivery on him normally. Digs it up, and it's too close again to Hassan Sani. And that is it. What a match of football we've had here at Jalan Besar Stadium. The number of opportunities in this game, particularly for Tampines Rovers, who are going to look back at this ruefully. A massive let-off for Lion City Sailors, who have perhaps a contentious penalty to thank, and a couple of decisions that went their way. A goal ruled out. It looked like a perfectly legitimate one as well from Firdaus Kasman. He just came on. This came at just about everything, but it's Kim Shin-wook's penalty in the 54th minute that separates the two sides. The final score here at Jalan Besar Stadium, it's Lion City Sailors 1, Tampines Rovers 0.
Thank you very much, Shahzad, and welcome back, Roshan. Well, you know, you often hear it said that winning when you're not playing at your very best is the hallmark of champions, but I think Lion City Sailors stretched the definition of it today.
What a game of football. For me, the best game of football of the weekend, and it's only had one goal in it, but the quality was incredible. I mean, Lion City Sailors, I think, are very fortunate to win this one.
Let's pick these stats apart,
look at the numbers
Roshan.
there.
It was a tale of two halves to an extent, right?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, the Lion City Sailors were slightly better in the second half, but they were so poor in the first. I mean, they didn't really need much to show an improvement. And I think a lot of things went against Tampines Rovers in this match. I think they exerted a lot of control in this one, and it's one of those results they'll look back at it and they'll think, they'll feel hard done by.
Yeah, the stats don't tell the story, these highlights will. First of all, it was early on, it was Kopitovic striking the post. He couldn't get much more on the shot, and they could have had another stab at that one. We showed these at half-time, and but for, you know, a one effort for Lion City Sailors, which we'll show you from Kim Shin-wook, it really should have been goals, plural, for Tampines, shouldn't it?
It's such good opportunities. And yes, Lion City Sailors, I said this at the time, they have these individual players, that quality to change the game. And just in these moments, warning signs for Tampines Rovers. But they had opportunities, Tampines Rovers, in the first half to really kill the game off. We saw Kopitovic there early on, just in the opportunity before this. Some good work from Taufik down the left-hand side, and he was so good with his movement in those positions. Yasser Hanapi here with an opportunity, difficult angle. Amirul did well to get himself back on the line to clear the danger. But they were getting in behind the Lion City Sailors defense for fun. They were controlling the tempo of the game in possession. Defensively, they weren't troubled, really. And they just couldn't take their chances, make the most of the opportunities. I mean, have a look at this one. There's so much time for them in the box to exchange passes. Kopitovic and Mehmedovic in those situations. Good work from Van Huysen.
Exchanging passes in the box, Roshan. And I think Gavin Lee might have to look back at this. And we saw it in the second half. Sometimes over-elaboration was a problem. So, on we go to the second half. Was that a foul? Play went on.
It should have been a foul. Two arms up from Diego Lopez. An obvious shove in the back of Kyoga Nakamura. There's good pace behind the shot from Diego Lopez. Look at that. I mean, that should have been a foul. It should have been a free kick to Tampines Rovers. It's things like that that have gone against them in this match. And it's so frustrating when you're a Stags player to, again, sort of the way that they played. It was an impressive performance from them.
This is the big moment in the game, as it turns out then. So, look at Chris Van Huysen there, who puts, I think he might kick into the ground slightly before he comes up and gets the ball. Maybe that's what the referee sees there.
Yeah, I mean, to give the referee the benefit here, he's in a much better position. He's got a better view of this. I'm looking at this from where we're seeing it, right? From behind sort of the ball, behind the action. And from my point of view, when I saw it first time, I thought that's a good challenge. You know, he's made contact with the ball. That's why it's gone in that direction. That's why it's gone out for what I thought would have been a corner. But the referee's in a great position there. He gives a penalty. Kim Shin-wook, quality on the penalty. He puts that one away, no problem, full of confidence. But again, when you think about decisions and refereeing, look at the encroachment.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
It's right in front of the referee
as well. So, well, we're going to talk about the officials a little bit more, because as this one wore on, it was a question of would Tampines finally be able to find a way through? Well, they felt they had done, and a couple of times we got into situations where there were chances, half chances, and in the end it came down to a couple of big calls, didn't it?
Yeah, and I was just sort of getting excited to jump in here because I want him to take this quicker, have a shot instead of a cross.
Well, that's the elaboration once again, and they were guilty of just taking that extra touch, that extra beat, weren't they? Then we get on to the moments of true controversy here. Fascinating one, this, in terms of the decision-making process of the officials here.
Yeah.
Fisted clear though by Hassan Sani. Yasser Hanapi's behind the goalkeeper, but it was actually Manoj Gawani, the assistant on this side, who raised his flag. Why?
Look, he's obviously decided, in his view of that situation, that Yasser Hanapi is in the way. There's no problem here. Cross comes in, he's onside, no issue. It's his second phase that comes in. He thinks Yasser Hanapi is interfering with the play, getting advantage by being in offside position, preventing Hassan Sani from making the save there.
We'll come back to that in a moment. This was Mehmedovic with a beautiful overhead, squirms underneath Hassan Sani. This time, on the replays, maybe this one was off.
I mean, this was a really close call, really close call. We can't really tell from this angle. Lovely finish from Mehmedovic, wonderful quality on that. But here, have a look at this. Have a look at this. Oh, it's such a close call.
Okay. Roshan, I want to go back to the other one. I want to go back to the other one because I think that needs more clearing up. Should the referee not be able to take on board the advice from his assistant and say, yeah, okay, I get that, but where I was, no interference,
He should have.
Overrule.
He should have. You know, this is where officials work as a team and they communicate with each other. So there's communication between them. And sometimes, you know, you have to understand as well where Jensen is standing. He's not going to get that view that his assistant referee is going to have. So he's probably just trusting the assistant referee to make the decision. He's given him that trust. He's saying, you looked at it. You're saying that in your mind, your decision is that he's interfering with the play. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to disallow. We're going to chalk it off. My view, I'm not a referee. I'm just a pundit giving my analysis. My opinion is that should be a goal. There's no way Yasser is affecting the play. In fact, he tries to actually duck out of that situation.
And I think you'll find a lot of people here at Jalan Besar today were of that opinion. But it stands. It was decision made by the referee. It stands, and as a result, it's a victory for Lion City Sailors. If we round up what we've seen this weekend as a whole, it was, in terms of goals, at face value, the least exciting and entertaining. But as Roshan said just now, it was anything but. Let's start off with Hougang United, with Andre Moritz's remarkable piece of vision to beat Geylang International to pick up their first victory this season. Tanjong Pagar United winning for a second time, going to the top of the table, despite conceding 3 goals in 9 first-half minutes at one point in that match. Young Lions put up brave resistance, but once they cracked Albirex Niigata, who've discovered their scoring touch belatedly this season, put another 5 goals in, and we've seen a victory for Lion City Sailors against Tampines Rovers. Now, what does that lead us to? Well, it leads us to a situation where you've got last season's champions and runners-up in 2nd and 3rd. They will meet next week. We'll remind you about that. Tanjong Pagar United, though, well, they've had an amazing start to the season, and they have 7 points. And for today's beaten side, Tampines Rovers, they'll feel that perhaps they should have had more than just the 1-point haul they've taken so far this season. Well, here it is, mouth-watering, our showpiece match of the weekend. Well, you only have to get along to Friday night, and it's Albirex Niigata against Lion City Sailors for the first time of their 4 league meetings this season. Remember, they've met in the AIA Community Shield already. That's in Jurong East. We got Tampines Rovers against Hougang United, Tanjong Pagar, the league leaders right now, against Geylang International, and Balestier Khalsa up against Young Lions. Roshan, a quick word on that game at the top.
I mean, the game at the top, brilliant. It's all happening on Friday night, isn't it? With Tampines going up against Hougang as well. I mean, incredible. Friday night football is brilliant in the Singapore Premier League, and we've got 2 great matches.
Talk about the form of Albirex and Lion City Sailors. Lion City Sailors got 3 points today, but would you be concerned for them going into a game against Albirex?
I would be, and a lot of it depends on what happens in the situation in training. If players are able to come back, there's not any more disruption in terms of COVID cases, illness in the squad, and injuries in the squad. But they haven't been playing well, the Lion City Sailors. You know, I don't think they've been playing well this season so far. Albirex, on the other hand, are starting to look like they're coming into a rhythm and finding goals and finishing off their opportunities.
All right, Roshan, thanks very much. So that is incredible in terms of the way these fans went through the emotional roller coaster today, but they're celebrating right now because the champions found a way to win. Hope you enjoyed it. See you again soon.
2-1-2.